most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to a very special showing of the MMAnomaly Show No Filter. In this episode, we are actually celebrating the MMAnomaly second annual award show. Let's go. We are super stoked to have you guys here. Shout out to Miss Mary in the chat. She loved the ugly sled. Shout out to Leo Leach staying up on the other end of the world right now to be with us. We appreciate you staying up. My guy, it's 4 a.m. where he is, and he's still staying strong. Hashtag CSO. Let's go, folks. Honestly, one hell of a year in mixed martial arts to go over tonight with you all. And no better time to do it than the first week of January 2024. So we are going to go ahead and start off with a few fun facts here. Across the year 2023, the calendar year included 520 UFC fights, 43 events in 19 cities, across 7 countries, across 4 continents. Lightweight had the most bouts in 2023, sitting at 77 of them. And 189 fight night bonuses were given out for a sum of $9.45 million, which means that I spent about 93 hours, 59 minutes, and 21 seconds watching UFC this year.
Sheesh, that is awesome, brother. You and me both, man. I'm sure our better halves are loving that stat right there. That's nearly 4 days of just pure violence and mixed martial art viewership. Just can't get enough of it. And hopefully we get more this next year. Love the lead in, brother. Happy 2024. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you all in the chat. Leo Leach, Miss Mary, great to see you. Mad Max Meridian, shout out. Appreciate you shouting out the jacket. Got to get a little spiffy. It is an award show, you know, like most award shows. You got to pull out all the nines. So had to put on the fancy jacket, like you might have saw in the thumbnail as well. And yeah, brother, like you mentioned, I mean, some great statistics here. And again, continuing to go through these numbers, we had 19 undisputed title fights here in 2023. Last year alone, here were 6 of those titles seeing a change of guard. Man, that's new. I think that's one of the big staples for me. When I look back at 2023, one of the big themes is changing of the guard, in my opinion. We did get to see a lot of that happening, some retirements, but have no fear. There were still 4 champions that did hold their ground, that were able to hold the door and hold off these badass opponents that are stacked on this UFC roster at this time. Quickly go through those. We had our boy Alexander Volkanovski holding down that featherweight title. Islam Makhachev holding down the lightweight title. Dogs, delicious lions in this one. 77 bouts in that lightweight division. So the fact that Islam was able to retain it, badass. Leon Edwards what a year Rocky Edwards had, man. My gosh, great performance after a great performance. What a year for him. And last but certainly not least, I get the women in here. Zhang Wei Li retaining that strawweight title, and maybe years to come. These are studs. These are pound for pound, some of the greatest at this time. And yeah, man, outside of that, 2 other titles also remain vacant. You don't see that often. A big void here, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to have in both the women's bantamweight division and the women's featherweight division. Amanda Nunes did retire. We'll be diving into those types of things later here. But huge shout out to the Lioness, as Olin so gracefully had queued up here earlier. Again, great career, but she did vacate 2 titles. So we're going to have some new crowns to be had this upcoming year. Very excited about that. But to keep it moving, the most KOs in a single event this year went to 7 different events with 7 in each of those events, y'all. Not to get it twisted, we had 7 different Saturdays with 7 knockouts. Something about that lucky number 7, y'all. Maybe we'll be able to top it this year, but love seeing that. The most submissions at a single event this year did go to UFC Fight Night 232 and topped off with a phenomenal submission of his own there. And that was Brandon All-In Allen versus Bo Craig. And there were 6 in that fight card alone. If you have a chance to go back and watch one and you want to see some good submissions, that'd be the one to watch, ladies and gentlemen. We had 6 on that night alone. So we were spoiled this year, right? And if you're a betting man, you might have been spoiled in your riches as well, because the betting favorites did go 341 wins against 163 losses over the course of this year, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty good odds, okay? It's just about 3-1 if I'm doing my quick mathematics here. And on top of that, 26-16 in the main event headliners. So most likely want to take those favorites, but don't get it twisted. It's not always a shoe-in here. That's why you love the sport.
Ain't that the truth? Love those fun facts. Continuing right on down with these fun facts and numbers, guys. We witnessed a total of 261 finishes in the calendar year, folks. 261 finishes in the UFC. 102 by way of submission. 159 by way of everybody's favorite, the knockouts, folks. We had 159 knockouts, which of course we'll be going over a handful of these later in the award show. Now, another thing to note is the UFC having 125 fighters debut this year. That's 125 possible future stars to look out for, folks. And by the way, these fighters went 61-63 in their debut fights. So pretty split down the line there. A lot of nice debutantes to look out for. We got 61 of them at least that are on a winning streak now. And a winning streak in the UFC is definitely saying something serious, guys. Nano, you want to go over a few more facts here on your end?
Hell yeah, brother. A few more here to wrap us up. And again, keep it moving as always. But wanted to start with UFC Fight Night, Dariush versus Sarukian. That was the first event to ever have 2 slam knockouts in one event, ladies and gentlemen. That was a more recent event, and that was a legendary night. And that's another chapter, I would say, or another theme that I have from this year. Again, a changing of the guard in regards to champions and some older veterans retiring, which is going to continue to happen here. But the 2 slams in one night, I mean, that is the story to be had here, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal night, craziness all around there. 292 also had some history. Zhang Wei Li was able to land the highest total strikes in a women's strawweight fight with 296 strikes. Landed on her opponent, Amanda Lemos. Basically a human punching bag out there for her. Next, we have UFC Noche, one of my favorite events of the year. I hope they make this an annual event. My girl, Alexa Grasso, represent Mexico, landed the highest total strikes in a women's flyweight fight with 262 strikes, ladies and gentlemen. In 5 minutes of work, I mean, absolute dominance. And that was against Valentina Shevchenko, so you'll love to see it. Last but certainly not least here, UFC 294, Islam Makhachev tied with the lightweight record for the longest winning streak in the division here with 12, ladies and gentlemen. That is craziness. 12 fights in a row, not even sniffing a loss. Islam, well, I mean, what can we say, man? Like the runners, like those track runners with the batons, I think Khabib smoothly transitioned the reign of the baton title here at lightweight over to Islam, and boy, is he taking it in stride. I'm excited to see what's ahead of him for this year. But outside of that, man, lastly, my fun facts, I wanted to throw in some music fun facts. As y'all like to know around here, we like to get our musical numbers in when we can. Great cue in, brother. Music makes the world go around. You absolutely got to appreciate it. There were some great soundtracks this year. Some you might hear about later on. You might recognize some of the phenomenal voices. But unlike the last 2 years, 2 different tracks closed in with over 10 uses in the octagon, far and away greater than last year, because no song made it more than 6 times. Dana White did kind of pull back the curtain here. Basically, a lot of fighters, if they don't have anything to go with, Dana ends up picking this. So the fact that we know Dana is basically the one making AC/DC's Thunderstruck here as one of the top songs with 10, and those fighters were 6 and 4 when Thunderstruck was playing. So more likely than not, if you heard Thunderstruck, that fighter might have been winning. Another one here is another theme song, Piranha Valet Tudo of PRVT E Hora de Vencer. I had to look it up, y'all. I typed that in directly. It's a very funny song. I don't know where it's from, but I'm assuming some Latin countries or fighters out there that they don't know. They just picked the. It is a hilarious song. I was shocked that it plays just as much as Thunderstruck. TNT's slightly behind that with a 6-run record. So Thunderstruck, TNT. I mean, any AC/DC, man. I mean, that's good for these UFC fighters, getting them pumped up into the octagon. I'll let you toss it over here, Olin, and round out these fun facts, man. We have a lot of good ones.
Man, I'm not going to lie, with those music fun facts you threw in there, I feel like I just got thunderstruck, brother. Those are great. Those are definitely fantastic. And AC/DC is definitely something that gets me fired up. Little fun side story before I round us out with these last fun facts. Back before I switched over from Apple Music to Spotify, when I was still using Apple Music, I once created a radio station off of a song, as you can do on there. And the song that I created a radio station of was Thunderstruck by AC/DC. I am 98% sure that I broke the Apple Music algorithm by doing that, because it then proceeded to play Thunderstruck 4 times back to back to back before playing something different. And the next song that it played was another AC/DC song. So
they would give you a steady dose.
Apple Music was like the algorithm was thinking to itself, like, what is like this song? We'll just play the song again 3 more times. It'll be fine.
They won't notice the loop around. They'll just be humming.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I listened to it 2 times, and then I was like, what the fuck gives? Why is it playing it a 3rd time? And then I skipped ahead again, and it played it a 4th time. And I'd be lying if I started to listen to it a 3rd time when that happened.
Yeah. Depending upon the setting, yeah, it might be valid.
We were driving. I was possibly getting close to getting a speeding ticket thanks to that, but I digress. So, rounding out the fun facts of 2023, with his knockout at UFC 291, Derek Lewis passed Matt Brown for the most KOs/TKOs in UFC history, sitting at 14 of those bad boys. Now, another one of these, after his win over Derek Lewis on November 4th, heavyweight Jailton Almeida's control percentage is sitting at 89%. Now, that's the largest in UFC history, not heavyweight history, UFC history. In addition, Almeida's top position percentage is 85.3%, which is, again, the largest in UFC history. The man knows how to dictate the pace of the dance. Speaking of people that know how to dictate the pace of the dance, the next 2 fun facts are about Tom Aspinall and then Merab Dvalishvili. So Tom Aspinall has averaged a UFC fight time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I don't know if you know or not. I'll save you the Googling. That's the shortest in the UFC history. Merab Dvalishvili set the UFC record for most takedown attempts this year in a fight with 49 attempts in one single fight. Of course, that was against Peter Yan back in March of 2023 on the 11th. Now, I'll be honest with you. Just reading that stat out loud, you may have noticed I choked up at the end there. Just reading that stat was fucking exhausting, guys. Like 49 takedown attempts? Sheesh. Somebody give this man a drink.
Unreal type of pace, y'all. I mean, dude, unreal.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Speaking of insane, Charlie Olives, man, he earned 20 stoppages in the UFC, and he now ties Cowboy with 19 fight bonuses in the UFC. So significant, right? Out of 20 stoppages, you got 19 fight bonuses. I mean, on both sides, it's nice to get a 50K paycheck. Am I right? Speaking of that, Jim Miller hit 25 victories in the UFC. That's another fun fact. A fighter competed 5 times in the octagon for the first time since Kevin Holland did in 2020. And that one was Jessica Andrade. She definitely deserves some flowers as she made 5 walkouts to this octagon on a calendar year. I mean, a sandwich style of kind of earnings here too. She ended the year with a W. She lost 3 in a row. But with that W, she put herself right back in top rankings and in contention. So super exciting year for her. Honestly, I could go on and on about these. There's tons of these facts that I had written down, but I don't want to bore you guys. I know why everybody's here. Everybody's here for the damn awards. So we are going to jump into some awards, folks. Super thrilled about this. Now, most award shows make you wait till like an hour and a half in to give you what you really want, which are, fun awards like Best Male Fighter of the Year, Best Female Fighter of the Year. So we're going to go ahead and start off with those two. We're going to start off with a bang. Don't worry. There's reasons to stay till the end. There might even be some celebrity cameos throughout the show. Who knows? Either way,
out all the stops,
definitely make sure you stay tuned because again, there may or may not be some celebrity cameos here. With that being said, the format of this is we're going to go ahead and give you a word from the fans because we did get some video submissions and we definitely want to play those for you all. Again, we really, really appreciate everybody that sent anything in. We even had an actor send something in who just recently started his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey. Shout out Brandon Stanley from She-Hulk, Marvel She-Hulk. So yeah, without further ado, we will go ahead and jump into what the fans had to say via video submissions about the Male Fighter of the Year.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is actor Brandon Stanley, aka Marvel's Leapfrog. For Best Male Fighter of 2023, I gotta give it to Islam Makhachev. The dude beat the #1 pound-for-pound Alexander Volkanovski not once, but twice. Second time coming via first-round high kick KO. Coming from one of the most dominant wrestlers in the history of the lightweight division, that is very scary. Give this man his flowers, or else.
Leon Rocky Edwards. My pick.
For me, this was definitely a toss-up between Poatan and Tarzan. I'm a huge Pereira fan, and I honestly was not a huge Sean Strickland fan up until this year, till I met him at UFCX, honestly, so not that long at all. But watching Strickland's come up this past year has been really, really fun, especially as a new fan and for somebody who honestly didn't like him at the beginning of the year. So definitely shout out Sean Strickland, you're the fucking man.
It's hard to go either between Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira. I think both of them did a great job in what they did, but I think Alex Pereira is the one that takes the cake there, man. To be a double champ in its own route, you got to give a shout out to him on that.
We're going to have to go with Sean Strickland. Old Tarzan had 3 victories he strung together this year. Obviously was streaking towards the title and then proceeded to kind of beat the brakes off of Israel Adesanya, which, some people try to make the argument that he's middleweight GOAT or potential middleweight GOAT or all this. And Sean put on a pretty decisive ass whooping. So that combined with his activity and his social media presence, I think you got to give it to Sean Strickland.
Love all of those comments from the fans. Again, give it up for you guys. We really appreciate it.
Let's go. Shout out Leapfrog. Shout out everybody. Yes, dude. That was
Leo
awesome.
Lee said, looking hinch, which I had to look up after he said that about me, and that means that you're looking super fit. So
I like it.
We'll take it.
I mean, just a few henchmen out here, right? Am I right?
You know what I'm saying? Also got to go back to a real quick comment here from Leo Leach. He asked me earlier while you were doing your breakdown, are you taking the secret juice? To which I responded, no secret juice for me, just super soldier serum. And he actually had a really, really fun response. He said, I wonder what's better, super soldier serum or secret juice or Nano's jacket.
Ooh. Oh, wild card now.
Leo Leach, that is a hinge comment right there, my guy.
Oh, man, what a henchman. What a henchman.
So me and Nano are now going to go into our breakdown here, who we voted for, which honestly, our votes, a lot of them did not win. So this is a channel for the fans, by the fans. This award show is voted on by the fans. And I mean, it's just, that's how it is. So whenever
y'all have
wins,
spoken. Wins. Yep.
Nano.
Cheers to that, brother. Let's
Cheers,
go.
Brother. Let's get it.
And if you're watching, feel free to take a sip of whatever you got. To a good year. Appreciate y'all being here. Huge shout out to those submissions. And I guess as a co-host, maybe I'll kick it off here because I do feel that I'm probably wrong in my pick, but I had to stick to my guns. I think we even disagreed on this in our initial banter when we first were putting this together. But I'm going to go, I liked, shout out Tien. I liked his sentiments around someone who this year accomplished some greatness, really solidified himself as just an absolute dog. Somebody that's set up, when you look at where he came in, even from this year, coming off a loss to where he is now, to just his short stint in the UFC. I'm going to go with our boy Alex Poatan Pereira. He was my favorite fighter of the year, here in the most respect in my book. Not only by beating Izzy. Look at that. Great bottle, brother. Fancy smancy guy over here. But again, I mean, just to quickly get off my soapbox, I mean, want to give Alex his flowers. He had a phenomenal year. I think being the double champ and in the fashion in which he did it against all the odds, man, it was really impressive, really improbable in a lot of ways. And it was just fun to watch, man. He really captured me. Seeing him now, and I mean, I love his shirts, I love his marketing, and I love everything he does. And he's got that left hook kiss of death, man. That touch that's just unlike anyone else. And again, ever since he came in, man, he's just captivated the UFC's, captivated someone like myself. And if you're new to the UFC and you're just stumbling across this guy, I mean, go watch some of his kickboxing highlights. He did the same thing there. Dude's just an absolute freak. And he's someone you're on a root for. All right. He's not boasting. He's not talking a lot. He lets his action, he lets his fist do the talking. He lets his octagon experience do all the solidification there. So I'm going with our boy Alex Pereira, but I know you're going to talk, your talk. I'm curious to hear your thoughts here and then see what the fans here of our MMAnomaly world and our No Filter Awards show here, round 2. Curious to see what they say as well. But what are your thoughts, brother? This is a big one.
Man, I'm going to be honest. I know Leo Leach is going to talk a bunch of crap here in the chat right now because we had a conversation here privately on Twitter the other day, or not on Twitter, on Instagram, where he was telling me he thinks I go a little bit hard in the paint for Islam Makhachev. And there it is. Right on cue. Thanks, Leo. And at MMAnomaly's best fighter is Islam Makhachev. I do think he's the best fighter of the year, or best male fighter of the year. Reason being, he beat the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world, not once, but twice. As Brandon Stanley, the actor from She-Hulk, said, like, give this man his flowers or else. Like, I personally, like, I voted for Islam. I really do think that he should be able to, edge this one out because of what he's done. Again, not one, but 2 incredible performances over the pound for pound best in the world. I don't know. That was my vote. That was my reasoning. Leo, fucking shut up. I'm just kidding.
That's a great case, though, brother. You make a great case, honestly. It's hard to bet against what he did.
He's the little lightweight champion who beat a featherweight twice. Brother, wait till you see what he does to the rest of the lightweight division, my guy. Wait till you see. And also, speaking of wait till you see, Leo, I'm going to need you to just zip it for a second here, bud, because this is an unbiased channel. As much as I love Islam Makhachev, we are going to keep it 100% real here and show zero bias. So without further ado, the first award of the night, the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards Male Fighter of the Year 2023. Give it up for Sean Strickland, guys. Tarzan! Wait a second. What is this? Is that the meat and potato striker shirt? Let's go. Let's go, folks. You can order those on the online store. Humble shout out there. And if you want to comment on the videos, you know that puts you up for a chance to win some. So let's go, folks. The MMAnomaly show No Filter Awards Male Fighter of the Year is Mr. iCarly boxing style himself, Sean Meat and Potatoes style Tarzan Strickland. The man, the myth, the legend, he gets it done. He edged out the votes. It was a close one, guys. This one was definitely a close one. Mr. Sean Strickland actually edged out 38.2% of the votes. Close second place was Islam Makhachev, coming in at 23.6% of the votes. So apparently it wasn't just me that felt this way, you guys. While Nano was going through some technical difficulties with the audio here, looks like he's trying to get that figured out. We'll go ahead and jump right on into the next award here. And the next award is one that I'm very, very excited about. It is the Female Fighter of the Year award. This is one that I thought had a lot of viable options here. Some of the options that were listed on the awards or on the voting polls were Alexa Grasso, Kayla Harrison, Larissa Pacheco, Stamp Fairtex. Those were the four that I put, obviously. Irene Aldana, Lupita Godinez got multiple other write-in votes. Like, come on. Valentina Shevchenko got some write-in votes. Zhang Weili got some write-in votes. Loved seeing the diversity here in this one. Looks like Nano got audio back.
Here we go. I'm back. Can you hear me? Coming in now.
There we go, folks. Stella got her groove back, and Nano got his sound back, folks. Let's give this guy a round of applause. The jive turkey that he is.
I got the Sean Strickland treatment there. I must got silenced somehow. I don't know what the heck that was, but
somebody cancel this guy. So again, Female Fighter of the Year. Before we give our votes, we're going to go ahead and jump into what the fans had to say.
Best Female Fighter of 2023. Thank you for having the options that you had. I was so excited to see all of the women on this list. I was super pumped at the representation. For me, it was an easy choice. Larissa Pacheco is incredible. She's a fucking beast. Her stamina literally and figuratively is absolutely insane. And I'm a firm believer that she would dominate in any fight organization.
I think we're going with straight pure. I like to say Alexa Grasso, but there's a lot of, secret ones out there. I'm going to go with Alexa.
Best female fighter of 2023, Alexa Grasso. Also my best pick.
I think old Lupi Godinez makes a really strong case for the female fighter of 2023. Maybe one of, if not the most active female fighter on the roster. All W's in 2023. She actually had a fifth fight in less than a year also. That one was an L, but even so, incredibly active. Knows how to stay composed, knows how to work her game plan. Clearly showing some growth in her skills. So for that reason, I'd give it to old Lupi.
Those are all great options, and it looks like we found one of our Lupi Godinez write-ins. So there we go. Welcome to the chat, Amanda, and thanks again for submitting the video. We really appreciate it.
You shout out.
And yeah, the headshot dead in the background. I'm pretty sure it's the same edit that I have pinned to my Twitter. So love that. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So moving forward here, Nano, I'll let you take the lead. Who did you vote for on this one? I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, a lot of badass women here. I love the representation, like she mentioned, and it was hard to choose. I'm a homer. I know I saw Amy's comment here on the channel a bit earlier. Can't find it, but Viva Mexico. I got to go with my girl Alexa Grasso. She was an obvious shoo-in for me. Her definitive win over Valentina Shevchenko. Obviously, we can debate if it was a win or not, but she got the W. She continued to improve her game. And for me, that was the feather in her cap to earn that award. But I do got to give Mad Max a huge shout out as well, not just for his phenomenal background that I told you about earlier, but Lupi Godinez had quite a year. The last person to have 4 victories in a single year was our boy Kevin Holland back in 2021, and our guy Giga Chikidze as well that same year. Not an easy feat, ladies and gentlemen. 1, to be healthy. 2, to fight that many times. 3, to actually freaking go out there and beat that person's ass. And Lupita Godinez did that every single time. She would have won you a lot of money as well if you would have been on her every single time. She's a savage. She's someone that, if I had to have maybe a new award, maybe for breakout, female fighter of the year, or up and coming, or the underdog, she's certainly in that conversation.
Absolutely. 100% agree here. So I again, there's so many good options here. Though I agree with what you had to say, I didn't make the same vote. I voted for Islam Makhachev, female fighter of the year 2023. I just voted Islam Makhachev on everything just to piss Leo Leach off. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, I don't think those Dagestanis roll that way, but
in all reality, who did I vote for? I actually voted for Stamp Fairtex. I think Stamp Fairtex, she had the best year. She's just a real standout for me. I think she's an absolute beast when it comes to Muay Thai. She's also really good at just fighting in general, guys. So, yeah, happy to make Leo Leach spit out his chocolate with that joke. So, yeah. My vote was for Stamp Fairtex. I thought she had a hell of a year. I thought she's had a hell of a few years, if I'm being honest. And she really deserves a lot more flowers than she's been receiving throughout her career. And I really, really hope that this year is just another year of growth for her in one championship. So that was my vote. Not sure who won. Yes, I am. I did all the edits. I know who won. So now I guess it's time for you guys to see who won. So without further ado, the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards Female Fighter of the Year. And I'm definitely not mad at that one, guys. Come on. Give it up for Alexa Grasso. She had one hell of a year, folks. She had one hell of a year. Alexa Grasso went out there and, with all due respect, she did the same thing. That's the reasoning behind my voting for Islam Makhachev as best male fighter of the year. And that's go out there and put it on the number one pound for pound female in the world. I say number one pound for pound female in the world because Amanda Nunes retired this year, folks. So she doesn't count for that conversation, in my humble opinion. So again, Alexa Grasso went out there, had one hell of a performance against Valentina Shevchenko. And what did she do but go out and do it again? So very, very impressive year for her. I was stunned. We had conversations about this. We did a breakdown video on it. I may have been one of the few people in the world that thought she had a chance. That fight felt very, very much like TJ Dillashaw going in against Renan Barao. Not many people thought TJ Dillashaw had a chance that night, but it made him into an overnight star. When before, he had really struggled to kind of seize that star power with or without wins over big marquee names. So I think this is going to be her Renan Barao win. I think this is going to be the one that really vaults her onto the map. And if she strings up a handful of title defenses, she could go down as one of the greatest female fighters of all time. So I absolutely love seeing this. Leo Leach said it as well in the chat here. Renan was a dog, man. 22 plus fight win streak snapped by TJ. Fun fact, you can ask Mystic Drew, that's usually in the chat. I bet against him that night. I bet on TJ Dillashaw. And he was like, look, dude, no one's going to judge you. We all know you were just kidding. Just blink twice if you know you're wrong and Renan Barao is going to win. And I stared at that dude for 45 seconds without blinking. So let him know I'm in business. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Pretty good. It's long.
You know what I'm saying? So I truly think that this is her marquee moment. This is her star making moment. And I'm 110% here for it, my guy. Yeah, I don't think it could have gone to a more deserving person. Had to shout out Stamp Fairtex. I think she's an absolute phenomenal fighter. And
we're going to talk about her a lot more. I guarantee that.
Definitely going to be talking about Stamp a lot more in the year 2024. With that being said, we're going to move right on forward into the next category here. Now, when we talk about best male fighter of the year, best female fighter of the year, fighters don't train themselves, right? And amazing fighters aren't made overnight. They are made over years, months, minutes, hours, blood, sweat, and tears carved in a gym. And they are being instructed and led forward by a sensei, by a coach, by a sifu, whatever you want to call it, the old ways, the new ways, either way, these guys have somebody that is coaching them to victory. These guys and gals, they will tell you themselves. They typically thank their coach first. If they don't thank them first, they thank them second, right after they thank God. So that tells me the coach is probably pretty damn important. Now, before we jump into our picks on this one, let's go ahead and see what a couple of the fans had to say about best coach of the year.
Best coach of 2023. I mean, you got to go with the man. Here's my biasness, but Coach Khabib, anytime that boy stepped into the ring, he was dominating. And anytime he was coaching, he was dominating. I just feel like the fighters that he coaches truly believes in how he plays, and it plays a big marquee in how they respect him as well. So Coach Khabib for me.
Best coach of 2023. I'll be real with you. I don't know coaches in MMA. I could have said Khabib, but my pick, Mike Brown.
Solid picks there. Mike Brown definitely makes a case. I mean, he just coaches studs, right? Coaches people like Dustin Poirier. I mean, the list goes on. Jorge Masvidal, etc. Now, my pick, I'll go ahead and let you know right off the bat. I did not vote for Coach Khabib. I literally will be honest with you. I threw Coach Khabib in there almost as a joke, simply because he did not actually attend the fights. So it's hard for me to vote as him for coach of the year if he's not actually at the fights, but there's a reason behind that, right? He doesn't want to go to the fights because if he goes to one fight, then he feels the need to go to all the fights for all of his guys, right? So essentially, he doesn't want to show bias. And if he can't do it for everyone on his team, he doesn't want to do it for one person on his team. So I think that there's something very admirable about that. That being said, did I vote for him? No, I did not. I voted for Eric Nixick in this one. Personally, that's who I thought should win this one. I thought he should win it by a landslide, if I'm being completely honest with you all. But recency bias, fans have very, very different personalities and picks. So definitely not everybody picked the same folks as us. Nano, I'm curious, did you end up going with Nixick on this one? I feel like this might be one of the few things we ever agree on.
It literally is. I was just going to say, this is the first time we're agreeing tonight. Maybe there's a few more under our sleeves. We'll see. But yeah, Eric Nixick to me seemed like the obvious choice. Man, I mean, he absolutely just exploded onto the scene, I think, in a big way, obviously with his work with Sean Strickland. Getting to channel the best version of Sean Strickland in that fight with Izzy Adesanya. Huge shout out Austin Martin, the boy. It's always Modelo time, my friend, brother. Gotta stay hydrated. Brought to you by Modelo, as John Anik would say. But yeah, I mean,
with the fighting spirit.
Gotta give Eric Nixick his flowers, man. Dude's an absolute savage. I mean, when you look at him, it looks like he's probably the one coach that could actually still go in there and beat you up as well. Dude looks ready to fight himself. But he's building quite a camp there at Extreme Couture. So I just want to give him the shout out for now having the champion on his roster there, Sean Strickland, amongst Chris Curtis, a lot of other big names that train there. I mean, Khamzat Chimaev trained there for a little bit. Darren Till made his way there. Absolute savages, man. It's huge shout out to Eric Nixick, man. He had a great year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He had a hell of a year. Everything that he was able to do with Francis Ngannou, everything that he was able to do, honestly, outside of the UFC, inside of the UFC, I just feel like just about anybody that this man coaches over there at Extreme Couture, they just start to do better. They genuinely start to show improvements. And I think that's wholeheartedly due to him as a coach. It says everything you need to know about him as a coach. Just want to say shout out to everybody here in the chat. Mad Max Meridian, Average Avenues 11, Austin Martin, or is it Martine? Leo Leach, Miss Mary, like everybody here, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. So thanks for joining us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. And again, those are our picks. Those are the fans' picks. Let's see if either one of those actually ended up winning or what the majority vote was. Well, there we go, folks. It is Coach Khabib Nurmagomedov. I mean, what is there to say other than the Dagestani legend himself? No bias here. Whoop, there it is. Hey, no bias here, guys. Just happen to be wearing the shirt because it's new and I like it. So here's the thing. Coach Khabib did receive the most number of votes. And as you know, we don't like to cheat the system here. This is actually one of the biggest landslide victories of any of the voting, which was very shocking to me. Coach Khabib, guys, 23 votes compared to the closest one to him being Eric Nixick with 10. So Coach Khabib literally got twice as many votes. Average Avenues, look, bro, I typically would vote for Khabib on a lot of things. This isn't one of the things I voted for him on. I voted for Eric Nixick. I promise it's not rigged. But it is a popularity contest, as most voting processes are. So Coach Khabib won. It does feel like another Islam W for sure. But man, let's see here in the chat. Everyone's flaming us right now. Damn, I'm a Khabib stan, and even I went Nixick. I'm a Khabib stan too, and I definitely went Nixick because Nixick should have won. But
maybe it's all of our San Jose crew or something. Maybe a lot of them are biased to the AKA Team Khabib. But I mean, hey, let's give credit where it's due, right? I mean, Team Khabib and those Dagestani boys. They got Islam Makhachev. That's one UFC lightweight champion, arguably the best fighter pound for pound right now. Hard to argue that one. Then who's the second best fighter? Oh, I don't know. Maybe just Usman Nurmagomedov, the champion for Bellator. Another absolute dog, right? And let's just look at even the newest edition, who in one fight looked like an absolute world beater. And that's Bilal Muhammad, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, dude's got a roster there. I mean, if you'd put his camp up against anybody else, it's a force to be reckoned with. So I do see maybe if you just look at the whole team together, right? And we're talking about Khabib as a coach here and the training camp and the actual camp he can put forth and the octagon work if he were there. I mean, boy, he's a weapon. So shout out Coach Khabib in this scenario, taken right after his papa. Gotta love it. Following in Papa's footsteps.
Absolutely, man. Father's plan, as they say. And, again, that's how the votes went, guys. Don't hate us, okay? Just send
the way the cookie crumbled
to more of your friends. That way they vote for the right folks, I guess. I don't know. It's the only way to game the system. So
no rigged voting here. Yeah. So, I mean, this is no stolen ballots. No, none of that foolery.
Maybe we'll get a better result in the next one here, since I do feel like it is somewhat tied directly to best coach of the year. We're talking about the best gym of the year here, folks. And we had some input from the fans here. Let's see what they had to say.
You set aside a lot of the past accomplishments of other gyms. This is one where a lot of these guys who have been around for a long time. Looking at the accomplishments of this year, I think this one should probably go to Lobo Gym. They've got a lot of talent doing very big things in the sport, making a name for themselves and really going out there and making statements with their performances. You've got the likes of Alexa Grasso, obviously winning the title. You got Irene Aldana. You've got Lupi Godinez, which in my opinion, female fighter of 2023. You've got Diego Lopez. So I think for those reasons, Lobo Gym gets best gym of 2023.
The best gym, American Kickboxing Academy, aka my pick as well. Shout out to San Jose.
My best gym of 2023. I think for me this year it has to be America's Top Team. They definitely did numbers this year.
Whew, man, there's a lot. So look, Leo Leach, we don't rig the votes, but I'm also not going to put up a gym that I don't think deserves to even be part of the conversation. Killcliff, we're talking about a guy who drafts good fighters, but doesn't actually teach them a whole lot. They learn a lot from each other. Come on. Everybody that knows me knows I am a big time anti-Henry Hooft guy. Anybody who walks out on their fighter in the middle of a fight just deserves to never make these types of lists again. It's despicable, folks. So who did I choose? Who did I go with in this one? Is that the question? I'll tell you who I went with in this one. It was no easy pick. I'm just kidding. It was actually a very easy pick for me. I went with Extreme Couture on this one. And I'll tell you why. The same reason I just gave for Eric Nixick. I think Eric Nixick should have won Coach of the Year because of everything that he did inside and outside of the octagon. Things he did in the square circle with Francis Ngannou. He got him his biggest payday he's ever gotten in his entire life. Oh, and also he helped him go out there and beat the best boxer of our time. Yes, that's right. He beat Tyson Fury in that fight, folks. You can at me on Twitter if you disagree. I'd love to have a debate with you about it any day of the week, folks. So that's my pick. I'm going with the folks at Extreme Couture. Nano, who was your pick?
I'm throwing up the X here as well, man. I am Team Extreme Couture as well, brother. Like you said, what Eric Nixick did in the boys. And I want to even look at it this way as well, right? Let's look at it in the sense that if you were a rogue free agent in the UFC world and you had to go to a gym for a camp and ensure you're going to be surrounded by the best, have the best way to get dialed in for said fight, I love that camp as well, man. I mean, Sean Strickland there, I mean, and people can hate on him all you want in terms of the antics or things he says outside of the octagon, which go watch that The Avant podcast. You may change your opinion on that. But aside from that, when you watch some of the behind the scenes of him in Extreme Couture as a captain, as a leader, as just a smart trainer, fighter, everything he's doing, it shows. It's because they're training well, they're training smart, but they're training hard and often, right? So I do like that concept. I do like their approach to the game. Maybe not as often as a Sean Strickland. There's obviously not everyone's in there sparring, 4, 5, 6 times a week, or different shades of that. But again, all things considered, again, I don't want to keep digging this hole any deeper. I do agree with you. But man, I do think that Extreme Couture would be the camp. If I had to go choose to do a camp and make sure I'm going to come out the best, I think that's the one. No doubt about it.
I mean, if that was the question, I would probably pick different just because, firsthand experience, I'd go right back to AKA, baby.
Those are switching up now.
You know what I'm saying? And that being said,
look at it that way.
Into it. And let's see who won. MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards, Best Gym of the Year. Let's go. Extreme Couture, baby. Extreme Couture.
Nice.
Extremely close voting on this one. It was neck and neck. Love to see it, man. Love to see the right folks win.
I'm extremely happy about it. Yes. Goddamn right.
Extremely happy about it. You can always count on those dad jokes here, folks.
Absolutely.
Always count on those. So yeah, that was it. Who came in second? You're not gonna like this, and it's okay. Neither did we. Who came in second? It was City Kickboxing, and then after that, it was a two-way tie between American Top Team and American Kickboxing Academy. America. Yeah, man. I don't know why City Kickboxing came in second. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. I guess for the Israel Adesanya win early in the year, getting the payback win over his rival, the arch nemesis in Alex Pereira. But man, oh man, I I'm at least glad that the right one won here. Extreme Couture for the win, folks. Gano, anything else to add on that one?
No, I mean, that was stiff competition. Shout out Mad Max. He does have every reason to be frustrated as he puts the classic in the chat. Because, yeah, I mean, he had a good pick as well. Team Lobos over there. That gym's cooking up something as well. Alexa Grasso, Lupi Lupita Gomez, who had 4 wins this year. Diego Lopez mixing it up on the ground as a coach as well, literally in the corner as a coach. Yeah, they're cooking up something as well down there. So they might be the up-and-comers of the year for sure. But man, Extreme Couture had to get a little respect. Eric Nixick and the boys had to get a little some. Maybe they are just the name that's in vogue right now, but throw up them X's, man. Gotta love it. Had a great year. And Ngannou, what he did in the boxing world, I mean, not to sidestep too much, but gotta just look at that and say, man, tip your cap, give him his roses. That was one of the highlights, honestly, in all of fighting combat sports. For me, that was fantastic watching what he did. And that still shot of Ngannou over Tyson Fury, almost Muhammad Ali-esque there over Sonny Liston. I mean, it was a thing of beauty, brother. So, yeah, Eric Nixick had a great year, obviously having his fingerprints all over Ngannou. But quick shout out to Francis, man. He had a hell of a year for himself, too.
Absolutely solid year, man, all around for those guys. I mean, yeah, I agree with the chat here. City Kickboxing, I don't think belonged to in second place for sure. Yeah, dude. Let's just call a spade here, as you know we like to on the No Filter show. The right gym won, and that's enough to be thankful for, folks. That's enough to be thankful for. Now, these next couple ones, or the next few, are actually some of my personal favorites. So we've got the best post-fight interview. This one is near and dear to me. It's one of my favorites. I typically think that, winning a fight is half the battle. It's what you say on the mic afterwards that makes it worth your while, or honestly, a wasted opportunity, a kind of a dud, rather than a triumph. So let's see what the fans had to say about the best post-fight speeches of 2023, folks.
Best post-fight interview. It's got to be Alexander P. at 290. That was legendary. His dad is somewhere right now. Should be disgusted with himself if he hasn't been already. But yeah, my pick.
Merab's post-fight speech over Petr Yan back in March. It was so early in the year. I feel like this one's getting overlooked a lot. But there was a lot of trash talk going up to this fight. Petr Yan, obviously, with his past with Aljamain, but also had a little bit of a run-in with Merab, was talking some trash to him, said something about not knowing his name and called him a zero at one point. And you could really tell that sat heavy with Merab. And then after the fight, obviously cutting the promo, he starts screaming, "Who's it on now?" And it got me with the chills. So best post-fight goes to Merab.
I'm going to have to give that to Sean Strickland. He used his platform to say how you're living your life matters way more than any title. Right after he won the title. That is selfless and awesome. We love you, Sean Strickland.
Man, sheesh. There's a lot of good options here, man. I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead on this one. Who did you vote for and why?
Oh boy, everyone makes some great cases there, right? I mean, it's hard to pick just one. The one that I ended up going with, and for me, it just is the one that sticks out the most. I love that Austin's excited about this one too. It was stiff competition, but if I'm thinking back on this year, and again, if you think about years past, I mean, there's Khamzat Chimaev, there's Leon Edwards, the headshot bang, right? I mean, some of these, which that doesn't feel like 2 years ago now, but the one that sticks out to me, honestly, is the Alex P, as Jordan put him. In UFC 290, obviously wins the championship over Brandon Moreno. Tough fight, stiff competition, and shouts out his mother for raising him and his brothers, and then kind of calling out his dad in a way, asking if he's proud of him now, if he's proud of him, Dad. How do you not? I mean, how does that not hit you right in the feels, right? I mean, talk about a liver shot right in the gut feelings, man. It hit you every bit way, and yeah, just raw emotions. But man, I mean, what Brandon Staley mentioned about Sean Strickland, I mean, I almost want to say in terms of the last round or the last few minutes, even last 30 seconds of a fight, the emotions he displayed there, if we got a little bit of that in the post-fight speech, I probably would have said yes to that because his message was awesome. But boy, I mean, the emotions he had was, I mean, something just that you just feel for him and you don't see often from fighters. But no, going Alex P here. You're proud of me, Dad. That's the highlight of this year, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, brother? Are we in agreement again here?
It's a rare occasion, folks. It's a rare occasion when me and the co-host actually agree with each other. But this is one of those rare occasions. Gonna jump into the chat before I really give my breakdown here. So Leo Leach said, you're a shit professor. Francis Ngannou to Tyson Fury. That's a solid option. Austin Martin said, excited for this one. Us too, man. Us too. J-Red 1018 said, daddy issues. You already know, baby. That's our vote too.
Facts.
Leo Leach said, Conor McGregor, you need to come back and fight somebody. Water, Michael Chandler. And Israel Adesanya, come to daddy is also a great one in my opinion.
Oh, that's
and
good
last
too.
but not least, I will never let someone who beats off to cartoons ever beat me. True words have apparently never been spoken as Sean Strickland went out there and pretty much beat the brakes off of Izzy. So with that being said, who did I vote for and why? Well, I voted for daddy issues. Why? Because I've got daddy issues. No, Alessandro Pantoja, he went out there and he beat someone that I didn't think he was going to be able to beat in a championship setting. He did it not super decisively, but it was a war. It was a back and forth. The man went out there and bled his own blood, and he still put it on him. He kept coming forward nonstop. Dude was just an onslaught, an oncoming force that was just seemingly unstoppable. So I had to vote for it. The emotions, just the raw, unfiltered emotions that we saw that night. I can honestly tell you, we were watching the fight in public. We got tickets to UFC Fan X, but not to the International Fight Week card because the overpriced tickets. And we were watching it in a sports bar full of burly guys. And I kid you not, Nano, every single chef in that restaurant must have just decided to cut onions at the same time because grown men were tearing up, man. Grown men were tearing up. Either a lot of people's parlays hit with that one or a lot of people really got the message and it got to them. Either way, without further ado, it's that time, folks. Let's find out who won the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award for Best Fight or Best Post-Fight Interview.
Take care of me and my two brothers alone, you know. Now, Dad, you proud of me, Dad. You proud of me.
Man.
Let's go.
Love it when the right one wins, folks. Again, a very, very, very close one here. Very close one, guys. 5 votes separated these two. And it was mostly these two that were up for it. Other than that, the other one that was kind of in the running was the Sean O'Malley. This is just the beginning of the sugar era. I'm running this shit till 2035, baby. Which was also a very fun one, but it just didn't convey the same emotions. Like, not at all. So I'm happy this one won. I think the right option won. But man, yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that one other than the right thing happened, man.
Absolutely. No, that was a fun one. Yeah, some good speeches after. Hopefully we see some more good ones. There are some different approaches, right? You can get aggressive. You can be excited. But yeah, if you hit the heart feelings, if you hit the heartstrings there, that always seems to be the moneymaker. So huge shout out, Alexander Pantoja.
Let's go, baby. Love to see it. We love a good feel-good story. And, we love to see people that didn't have the easiest upbringings that are able to come back and just make it back in spades, man. And Alessandro Pantoja is definitely that guy. He's definitely someone that has been able to turn nothing into something. And with that being said, this next one is the complete opposite. We're talking about the most cringe post-fight interviews of 2023, folks. From feel-good moments to feel-bad moments. You know how we do here on the No Filter Show. We're covering the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that means we are probably going to have to talk a little bit about Colby Covington. So without further ado, let's see who the fans voted for on this one. Should be a good one.
Most cringe post-fight interview might actually be this one, but Anthony Joshua and his back, whatever that was about. You're not carrying much, but if by all means, take it upon yourself. My pick.
Come on. That's going to Colby Covington. Dude, you got your ass whooped, Colby. What are you talking about? You don't have a scratch on you. Wipe your nose, bruh.
It's funny because the guy who fought isn't the one that made it super cringe. It was the dude coming in from outside the octagon. And I think this one pretty clearly goes to Dreykus's win over Robert Whittaker. Was doing just fine in the post-fight interview. And then, of course, they had to bring Izzy in. For those who know, they know how that back and forth proceeded to go.
Let's go. This is some good choices.
Solid choices.
Some cringe moments this year. Some cringe moments. You got to love the cringe a little bit.
I mean, just going into some of the options that we have there, obviously. I can't say the words that are the reason the Izzy one was weird. Because, you know, there was some race baiting going on, and I'm not trying to get canceled before we even start making it big this year, you know? So we'll go ahead and skip on past that one, but just know that if you haven't seen it, you probably do yourself a favor and not watch it. It was just very cringe, exactly as the category says. The whole thing was very weird, as Mad Max just said as I was saying it. So definitely very, very cringe moment. That Anthony Joshua one, if you don't watch boxing, that was extremely cringe. He grabbed the mic, he faked having something wrong with his back and said that his back was killing him because he now has to carry the heavyweight division in boxing. You fight like once a year, and 80% of the time you don't even fight the guy that everybody wants to see you fight, or you got scheduled to fight. So yeah,
go fight Ngannou and tell me about that.
Yeah, go fight
somebody.
Let's see how your back feels there, buddy. So moving into the next one, my personal pick, Colby Covington, Colby Chaos Covington. I mean, nobody does cringe quite like Colby does, right? Having a gash on your forehead and nose and saying the words, "I don't have a scratch on me. This is the easiest fight of my life." I don't know, dude. I don't really know that I have to go through a whole lot more breaking down and analysis to tell you why that's cringe.
I mean, pre-fight, post-fight, during the fight. Yeah, everything about Kobe's performance is pretty cringy, unfortunately.
We're not impressed with his performance.
He's got Henry Cejudo going for his money here on most cringe, man. Most def. It was a rough one for Colby this year.
Absolutely, it was a pretty damn rough one for Colby this year. And if you've got nothing else to add on that, then I guess we'll go ahead and without further ado, reveal the winner of the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award for most cringe post-fight interview of 2023.
It was an easy fight, you know. I don't have a scratch on me, so you know, I'd like to get back to work early part of next year.
I don't have a scratch on me. It was the easiest fight of my career here. Sheesh.
I did forget about the Bryce Mitchell one. That might have been my most cringe, but just entertaining as well. That one was up there. I could have been both.
He did say that, like, we need to show Satan that he can't do anything against the power of Jesus, and you know, freedom, and they're taking our land from us. And, like,
oh man, that was fantastic.
Seeing a redneck iteration of William Wallace from Braveheart was not on my 2023 bingo card. Freedom.
Well, what happened to him after that?
I got.
Unfortunately, it's more top of mind. So similar to him, it got erased from my memory.
Yes. Absolutely. We'll be going over that a little bit later in the show for sure. So that's it, man. That was it. Most cringe one. Again, the right guy won. This was another one of those landslide ones. 47.3% of the votes went to Colby Covington, guys. To put that into perspective, the closest to it was 16.4%, with Manel Kopp calling Kai Kara-France a little boy and a F word that we haven't been allowed to say without flack since 1998. So, and he said that F word a lot of times. So, yeah, there was a lot of options. But man, Colby took the cake, folks. And I think with good reason here, right?
Facts. You're right about it.
I know you're right about it. Now, after this one, we are going to go into not the funnest award category. In fact, this is one of my least favorite award categories every year. And that's most memorable retirement or best retirement of 2023. The reason I don't love this one is because it means that we got to watch a legend that we used to love, a legend of yesteryear, fade into yesteryear, right? So, that being said, we got some pretty solid input from our fans on this one. Let's go ahead and see what they had to say about these retirements this year.
Best retirement for 2023. We saw a lot of old dogs leave their gloves in the octagon this year. And of all of those, the one that probably gave me the most feels, as the kids would say, would be the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung. I think there was maybe only one retirement this year where the entire crowd was singing as the guy came out and basically crying as he left the octagon. And I think that goes to the Zombie. I don't remember seeing anything else that had that kind of impact, that kind of emotional attachment to it as far as retirements go for 2023.
This is not a joyous occasion, but it is joyous to see them go out on top. Robbie Lawler, the big dog, my pick.
I'm going to give this one to Ruthless Robbie Lawler. This dude put on some of the best fights of all time. I have never not been entertained when I saw that man walk into the octagon. I'm not going to lie, I cried when I saw him cry, and I know you did too. We will miss you, Robbie Lawler. Thank you for the incredible memories.
Korean Zombie, baby. I think when he retired, that one hurt me. You know, I watched him throughout his career, just from how he was from a young rook to where he was able to produce numbers on there. I'd have to go with the man, Chan Sung Korean Zombie, baby. That one hurt me.
You could tell old TM was still hurt, man. He was choking back the tears there, man.
He definitely was. He was a little choked up. You could tell.
Weren't we all during that one?
We all are. Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna lead out the gates and let you know that's the one that got my vote. I definitely voted for Zombie. So I thought that was a sad one, right? It wasn't maybe the best retirement in the world, but it was one of my favorites just because it was time. And he went out on his shield as he always does. And there were moments in that fight where he looked like he could actually end up getting our guy out of there, our guy Max. So hell of a card, hell of a fight, and hell of a retirement. Whole crowd was singing along with him, his song. So yeah, man.
Solid pick.
Absolutely love that one. Intrigued to hear what your vote was and kind of why the one you voted for resonated with you.
Yeah. And I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. Although I couldn't submit two of them, I do want to talk about two fighters that did retire. The one I ended up choosing was the one who left her shield out on both of her shields in the octagon. That was Amanda Nunes, went out on top. Just an absolute dominant performance, legendary career. Was very sudden. I think, although it wasn't as emotional as the next fighter I'm going to talk about here and give his roses. But Amanda Nunes, man, huge shout out. I mean, what a career. What a performance to go out on and to do it on her terms. I get it. No other motivations. She did everything to be done. And yeah, huge shout out her. We're going to miss her a ton. Maybe she'll make her way back. Who knows? And then last but certainly not least, man, Robbie Lawler. I mean, you want to talk about just pure performance, to go out on top, to showcase a little bit of that vintage Robbie Lawler, the brawler that we used to see back in the day. And we're talking about when he used to have hair, ladies and gentlemen. He did have hair back in the day, and he was an absolute savage. I mean, you want to talk about at the early stages of the UFC, early stages of fighting when, hey, you just have an absolute athletic freak in here that loves to get down and is not going to shy away, has a gas tank like no one else, and is tough as freaking nails. That was Robbie the Lawler Brawler. He was an absolute fucking dog. Junkyard dog. Savage dog, man. That was who he was, and that was how he went out as well. Getting out another dog in Nico Price. I mean, what a legendary performance it was. It was emotional. You even got a little bit of emotion from Robbie, which you never really see. But it was great. I mean, it was even fun to go back and rewatch. He was soaking it in. I think he literally got into the Hall of Fame for his fight with our boy, the legend. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Carlos Condit.
That one as well, but no, with
Matt Brown.
Oh, no, it was his fight with it was for the not for the title where his lip was busted up.
Yes. Roy McDonald. Roy Mac,
bro, a legend back in the day. That fight, one of the best of all time. So
Rory
like
Mac.
Brandon said, I mean, every performance he's been out there, it's never been disappointed. Win, lose, or draw. He leaves it all out there, man. Getting to miss Robbie the Brawler Lawler. They don't make him like him anymore, man. He was one of one.
That dude,
Hall of Famer.
He's built like a fucking rock, bro. He is carved of stone for sure. Welcome to the chat, Pat Modi.
I think this is time to do a shot as well. I mean, this feels appropriate.
I think this is definitely a time to do a shot, my guy. I mean, what better time than to do a shot for these folks? Leaving it all out there on the octagon for us. We're talking blood, sweat, tears, and sacrificing years, folks.
Literally,
I need to coin that phrase. That was solid.
That is good. Added to the
tears and sacrificing years. He is exactly what Tico Tech LLC said. And shout out to you for being in the chat as well, my guy. And thanks again for the late Christmas gifts. Like, those were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Me and the fiance both absolutely appreciate it. For the viewers, I'll tell you one of the things he got me. It's a Jack Dempsey book, brother. Like, written by Jack Dempsey.
The boy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm somehow
That's a good read.
Slicker, baby.
That's a good read.
So I'm excited since we're talking about legends, retiring, etc.
Great timing.
Absolute gladiator of Robbie Lawler and absolute gladiatorial career. Cheers to you. Cheers to all the legends that retired this year.
Zombie. What a year.
What a year. What a year. What a year.
Brings
a
tear to my eye.
It was a year that was definitely filled with sadness, sorrow, but also triumphs and great victories for some of these fighters. So without further ado, we are going to jump into the winner of the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award for Retirement of the Year 2023.
Let's go. The gladiator himself, man. Love it. He was crying in that picture. You can't really tell. He still looks tough, but he was crying. Tears of joy.
Yeah. That's not someone that you would call out for crying for sure in person because he would murder you.
No, I would try to hug him though for some reason. No, not really, absolutely.
But I would try and hug him.
The bro hug. Yeah.
Yeah. At least a bro hug. I'd try and slip it in there like, what's up, brother? Bring it in.
I try to do the quick one, right? You get in, you just go right for the hug. Like, nah, yeah. No, you drop that. You drop that hand. You do more of the high five / I'm going in, brother. Like I'm making it known.
Boom.
Yeah.
Get the double whammy, the double
switcheroo.
Bear hug style. I feel it.
Got to. Maybe you do a little connection. He might be old school. He might be more of a connection kind of guy. Get that kind of Arnold and
me and you
Apollo Creed.
The loudest connections I've ever heard in my entire life.
Dude, it used to echo those always. Oh, bro, legendary. I think people called us out on it a few times. There were multiple times.
There were at least 3 times where we went to happy hour afterwards, and like people that weren't in our group were like, "What the fuck was that?" Like, it's just a connection that you don't understand, dude.
Like, dude,
That's
thunder.
all it is.
Yeah, lightning just struck right now. A little thunder, a little lightning, baby.
So Pat Modi said in the chat, imagine if TKZ had won and went out like that. Was still great.
They shouldn't have matched him up against Max, but I do agree. Would have been cool. Should have put him up against anybody else.
But let me ask you this. When's the last time you saw Max get rocked the way that he got rocked in that fight?
He did get hit pretty hard.
He still had it up until the very end, dude.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard.
To see it.
No, he said he was leaving it all out there, and he did. He went down face first, unfortunately, but it was a great performance. Went out on a shield. Yeah, you absolutely love to see it on his terms. Yeah, same with Robbie Lawler. I mean, vintage performance, and same with freaking Amanda Nunes, man. She went out the way she started, just beating the girls up, man. She's boy, oh boy. I don't even know. It's to the point where it's like they may not even have one of those divisions that she had. It was just she was just so dominant. Not that many girls at that weight. It's crazy. She basically shut down a whole division.
She absolutely did, man. And
her ability to defend both at the same time, you got to appreciate that. Not a lot of people are doing that.
I don't know that we'll ever see that kind of dominance across one weight class, more or less 2 weight classes.
That's facts.
In women's MMA again. So, without further ado, with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into one that I'm very excited about. We didn't get any additional video submissions for this one. This was kind of a last minute one that me and Nano basically just kind of went through the nominations here ourselves and chose. But we also thought that it made a lot of sense. Now, there was a number of other nominees that we talked about that didn't make it on the Final Four list that you'll see here in the reveal. But Breakthrough Commentator of the Year, we'll actually just talk about our pick afterwards, since you're going to obviously see it in the big reveal here. So without further ado, the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards Breakthrough Commentator of the Year 2023. It had to be Laura Sanko, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I love John Morgan. I love Ben the Bane Davis. Even CM Punk was in talks a little bit. Like, he's done a really great job on the microphone, really flexing the mouthpiece this year, while also making his big return to the bigger wrestling stage here. So Sanko, as Pat Modi said here in the chat, was absolutely spectacular. She does a fine job of providing the excitement that John Anik typically provides, while also providing the actual detailed breakdown and analysis that can rival that of a Michael Bisping, a Daniel Cormier, a Dominic Cruz. She's basically Dominic Cruz with a far more exciting voice, and she just seems like she's more excited to be there doing the job. I think this is something that's been a long time coming. I think Laura Sanko has always done a really great job interviewing the fighters post-fight in Dana White's Contender Series, as well as the commentary she's been able to provide on that. But I think it's high time that we see her on more pay-per-views, or pay-per-views in general for the UFC, utilizing her full scale of talent.
I love that, brother. Yeah. Just to kind of add my 2 cents here, I want to give her flowers. Wish I give them to her in person, but fortunately that won't happen. But until then, no, all jokes aside, Laura Sanko, absolute savage. She's phenomenal, very professional, very good with the microphone. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a way I like to think of it is it feels like she's a good happy medium in between that Joe Rogan, where it's knowledgeable, like she knows what she's talking about. She's not only fought herself, but she's been training jiu-jitsu for a long time. So she knows the positioning. Shares the excitement that Joe does, especially in his early days, able to kind of have that slick, fast talk that you need as they're moving positions very fast. But again, she's genuinely excited to breaking it down. And then she has that little bit of DC, that little bit of down to earth, I mean, frankly, just a female voice, which, maybe we're not used to hearing, but who doesn't love to hear that, right? And again, when she knows what she's talking about, And like you mentioned, I mean, as Joe Rogan being where he is, who knows how much longer he's going to be doing this, like he's mentioned, or maybe just add another seat there with John Anik, maybe taking a step back as just the main guy, but maybe add a Senko in there as well with the DC, with the Joe Rogan. Maybe DC is just kind of there for fun, or even just try Joe and Senko. I mean, again, she's certainly in the conversation there. Love Bisping, love Dominic Cruz, love Felder, love all these other guys. But if I'm being honest, I mean, give me some more Senko, brother.
Yeah, serve it up, man. If you serve us Sanko on a mic, bro, I'm eating that all day. Like, it's just a fantastic option. She brings a lot of excitement to the cards, and she also brings a lot of actual high level commentary. I mean, just everything in general that she does, I think is fantastic. I'm here for it, and I'd like to think that most of, if not all of, the rest of the fans are here for it too. So, well deserved, well earned. Congrats, Laura Sanko, for being Breakthrough Commentator of the Year here on the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards. And we have one more category that we did not receive fan video votes for. This is one that we strictly did as a Twitter poll because, fittingly enough, it is MMA Twitter Personality of the Year. And we were able to actually get an acceptance speech from the winner of this one. So we'll go ahead and just play these two real quickly for you before we move into the next category. So without further ado, the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards MMA Twitter Personality of 2023 Award.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Ben the Bane Davis here, and wanted to give a big thank you for all 24 people that cast the votes this year. It was a very competitive pool. I believe I notched about 12 or 13, and thankfully that was enough to get it done. So we will be taking home that Personality of the Year. I think it might be the only thing I've won in 2023, so very happy about that. But thank you again. I appreciate it a ton. And next year we're going for the 2-peat, so stay tuned.
Let's go, Bane. Picking up a victory there late in 2023. He needed it.
Let's
he had
go.
a handful of losses, but boy, we love to hand out victories here. We like to hand out W's, and me and Ben have been mutual followers of each other for the last year and a half now. He's always been a class act, in my opinion. Very, very nice guy. He did end up winning on the actual votes, which, I'll be honest, was surprising to me because McMalley, Capoza has 76,000 followers. McMalley has at least twice to three times as many as Ben the Bane Davis, but it's not about how many people you know. It's about the types of people you know and who's going to go to vote for you, literally. Who's going to go to bat for you. And that's what we saw happening for Ben the Bane Davis. His fans, his friends, they were coming out of the woodworks. They were all voting for him. They were hammering it home and making sure that, in their opinion, the right man won. The right man took home the trophy. And I personally do think that, it's not a bad option. I do think that he's one of the funnier, if not the funniest person on MMA Twitter. Shout out Mac Malley. He is probably one of the most comedic people I follow. Especially if you're a fan of MMA, he makes some very, very on par and on brand jokes. Nano, do you think the right man won this one?
I do, brother. I do. Ultimately, Ben the Bane Davis, like you mentioned, man, obviously a personal favorite of ours here in our community here at the MMAnomaly Show. But yeah, man, I mean, we got to let the work speak for itself. I mean, you check him out on the X or Twitter, as us old folk likes to call it. But dude's hilarious. He's got some great content, man. Worth the follow. And yeah, there are some great personalities out there. I mean, another one that to me sticks out is just Nina Marie. Obviously, some of the interviews she's done with the fighters always cracks me up. That's another lighthearted, fun follow. Again, trying to play both sides of the fence here. Got maybe the male winner, then maybe the female winner in my book. Just an excuse to give another person their flowers. But yeah, shout out Ben Davis, man. Ben the Bane Davis. Yeah, again, I have his X up here as we speak, and it's pretty funny. I mean, it's quite distracting. I better exit out here before I go down this rabbit hole, but worth the follow for sure.
Shout out Leo Leach. This guy, it's like 5:30 a.m. for him right now, and he's still lurking in the chat, and we hell of appreciate it.
Love it. Not a boy.
Love to see it, man. Hope tomorrow's an easy day for you, because Lord knows we're keeping you up late tonight, my guy. We were going to go ahead and continue moving right on along here. So let's see here. What is the next one we have? What is the next award that we are going to be going through? Well, I'll tell you, it's one of my favorite ones. Definitely one of my favorite ones every year, because this one is one where it's not necessarily always a new name, but it is a name that might be fresh on your radar, because this, folks, is the most improved fighter of the year 2023. And before we jump in with our picks, let's see what the fans had to say.
Most improved fighter. Brendan Allen is definitely a really big one. I think the way that he showed that he's not just great on the, standing, especially from where and how he came into the league, losing a couple fights, but then coming back in and just really kind of taking over the show. So,
most improved fighter, Song Yadong. Backstory for that one, it's my pick.
It's his pick, folks. It's his pick. You heard it here first. One thing you can bet on with Jordan is if he's making a pick, it's his pick. That's
his pick.
That's his pick. Who do you think was the most improved fighter of 2023?
Dude, there's a few good ones, right? Like, I mean, honestly, when you just look at some of the options real quick, I mean, Song Yadong had a great year, right? Arman Sarukian had a great year as well. Two young up-and-coming fighters that almost, to me, feel like they're still going to be getting better, right? So maybe we're a year ahead on those boys. So my actual pick was Brendan All-In Allen, because frankly, man, I just think he's an absolute dog. Like we talked about on the show, brother, we are all in on him around these pots. And the Louisiana boy, I mean, he does everything right? He's someone you want to root for. Also had a great post-conference speech where he brought his daughter in there, asked her who won the fight. She said, "Daddy." That was pretty cute. But yeah, you mentioned you're throwing up the rear naked choke. He has a few of those in a row. Dude's an absolute savage, man. So I think to me,
no big deal. Only 4 out of his last 5 fights by way of rear naked choke.
Nuts. Yeah. Choking out these grown men from behind. Come on now. Yeah, man. I mean, he, to me, had the most improvements, made the biggest statement. Again, all of these fighters had a great year. And I do want to shout out the female fighter here as well, Ariana Lipsky. I mean, absolute savage. She had quite a year. Hell of a performance her last outing. Lupita Gomez winning 4 times. Again, I mean, I want to keep shouting her out. There is a lot of stiff competition in this category. We're spoiled rotten with the amount of young, blossoming, talented fighters here up and coming. But I got to go Brendan All-In, man. I just feel like he made the biggest statement, and he is like locked and loaded, ready to go right now. Not that anyone else isn't, but give me Brendan All-In Allen. Who's your big brother? Are we in agreement again here? Did you bias against your hometown boy?
You know we're in agreement again, man. I had to go for the hometown hero, Brendan All-In Allen. He went out there, he got it done multiple occasions, and I made money off this fighter this year. I was up units because of Brendan All-In Allen, and they made it easy. Oddsmakers don't like him for some reason, and I fucking love that they don't like him because it makes me money. So please, by all means, oddsmakers, continue betting against this young man and continue being wrong, because he is the future. He is here to stay, and he is vastly improved. Not sure how he's improving so much at Killcliff. I have a weird sneaking suspicion he's actually making these leaps and strides when he's training back home in Louisiana with Dustin Poirier at the home gym. But, that's neither here nor there. I just simply think that he has done the most to showcase his improvements this year over the opponents that he's beat and the way that he's been able to beat them. So, with that being said, I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm not going to lollygag around. It's time, folks. The MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards Most Improved Fighter of 2023. B Allen, baby.
Let's
All
go.
in.
Sheesh. Yeah,
Love to see it,
her.
baby.
We out
Yeah.
here.
You heard me? We out here, baby. We out
I
here.
love it, man. Everyone was
you love to
deserving,
see it,
but
man.
yeah, that was fantastic. Shout out,
There's
Brandon.
a lot of really, really great options here. Most improved. I thought Ariane Lipsky deserved a major shout out there. She's someone that I think has severely showcased what she's been able to improve upon. And I think it's the total package with her. But I mean, it's really, really hard to put up a better option than Brendan. All in Allen. I think the right person won. I don't think we need to dwell on it a whole lot. I just truly am excited to see what's next for the kid.
Facts. Yeah, man. I don't know if he's booked yet. I feel like maybe I should have done a little research on that. But coming off that recent win against Bo Craig, I don't think he's
just recently booked him. Yeah. There's
Vittori. Here we go.
Marvin
A day
Vittori.
ago.
Yep, they're sending him all the way to Mordor, bro. I hear he's trying to take the belt from Mount Doom.
It's gonna be a 5-rounder. Oh, so this is a fight night, 240. Headlining
It's a
April
headliner.
9th. No April Fool's joke here, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be in
It's
the
weekend
Apex.
before my birthday.
Let's go.
You already know, ladies.
Damn, Vittori, man. This is a banger. This is a good litmus test, man. So let's see. If we get positive odds on Brandon All in Allen, I might have to partake. Huh? A little partake on a parlay. Hey.
You bet against him in that
Hey.
Andre Muniz?
Take it easy. Why don't you take it easy, okay?
I'm just saying.
I was worried
I
about
had a
it.
hell of a time trying to convince you on that one. People don't forget.
6th grade, dude.
People don't forget. Look, I mean,
You know that.
absolutely beast. Absolutely beast.
Excited for that, though. Here we
Leo
go.
Leach said most improved Sean Brady. Come on, bro. Go to bed. You're delusional at this point, young man.
I mean, he did beat Kelvin, but that was,
Average Avenues, let's go. Allen by sub all fucking day.
Average
That's the
Ocean
line.
Avenue.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to sit and talk with you about the UFC fights too.
We were both too old, but it felt so right. Betting all day, staying up all night. You come for the award show, but you stay for the music. So, folks, I absolutely love this guy. I think he's got just future star written all over him, and I'm very excited for this Marvin Vittori fight. I'll tell you that. Now, moving right into the next one, related but not quite related, kind of related, but still a little different. We're talking about the Rookie of the Year, folks. Not to be confused with, Star Wars and the Wookiee of the Year. This is the Rookie of the Year, folks. We're talking about someone that made their UFC debut in 2023 and had the best year as a rookie in 2023. Now, let's hear what the fans had to say before we jump in with our picks.
Rookie of the Year, Bo, not a dime, not a penny, not a quarter. Bo Nickel, my pick.
For Rookie of the Year, this one was very easy for me, and it's Bo Nickel. If he was on any list, I would vote Bo Nickel. Not only do I think he's the best wrestler in the UFC right now, I think he could beat any middleweight in the world right now. You guys are going to see it. Bo Nickel is going to be an undefeated, pound-for-pound best in the world middleweight champion. And we get to see the beginnings right now.
Rookie of the Year. This one was a hard one for me, man. Bo Nickel, baby. I think Bo Nickel's going to show people why wrestling is the number one way to dominate in any sport, in any time.
Man, Bo, not a dime, not a quarter, not a penny. Bo Nickel, folks.
Good old Bo Nick, man. It's a good choice.
Mother flubbing a nickel.
How do you bet against him, right? Like Brandon said, if he's on the list, how do you not mark that box, right?
Dude, I'm
Are
telling
we
you,
in
I
agreement?
just, I think Bo Nickel all day, man. I'll let you take the lead here, but yeah, I think Bo Nickel is definitely the Rookie of the Year. The only close second, in my opinion, is got to be, where are you? You know what I'm saying, Mr. Diego Lopez himself. Other than that, like Joe Pyfer puts up an arguable point, but it's between those two, man.
Yeah, Ikram Aleskarov as well also had the 3 wins. Jailton Almeida had a great year, although he's not necessarily a rookie, I would say, right? We got to talk about new people on the scene. and people that fit that bill. And Diego Lopez, man, huge shout out. I mean, he proved that he's an absolute dog. But I got to say, I'm so sorry because I'm not picking you for this award. I do think it is going to be Bo Nickel, though. I mean, again, it's obvious. I mean, dude, ever since he came out the Contender Series, was hyped up, but he is meeting the expectation. And yes, we know, who's he been fighting? I mean, who knows, right? I mean, let's fair. But he's now getting a proven test against Cody Brundage. Yes, he's not a top 15 guy, but he is a legitimate contender here in the middleweight division. So this will be another good litmus test for, again, a young up-and-coming dog who has the proven background of a strong wrestling pedigree, right? I mean, the dude is absolutely just spectacular when it comes to the wrestling game. And when you look at his striking in the last few fights, I mean, it's hard to make a case that, he's making those strides, right? He's a perfect example of that new age of UFC fighter, right? He specializes in a discipline, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's wrestling, whether it's kickboxing or Muay Thai. He's coming in with a specialization, and now he's adding to that specialization and putting all the puzzle pieces together. And he knows how to train. He knows how to be a pro. Again, he was a national champion at Penn State, someone that was trying to qualify for the Olympics. I mean, dude's up there. He's next level. So all things considered, man, like Brendan said, man, he might be a future champion. If not this year, could be the next, but sky's the limit for the kid.
Well, I got to go ahead and address something that was said in the chat here. Average Avenues 11 coming in with the hits tonight, folks. He says, I like to call him Lobo Nickel because of his first fight.
Oh,
solid. He definitely landed a low blow in that first fight. I was definitely not a fan of that. Yeah, multiple. That's how I ended up getting that beautiful takedown secured. So, yeah, man. I also have to go into the chat here and say there's a lot of, hype being thrown out for Ikram Aliskerov. 2 fights this year, debut this year, 2 first-round KOs this year. Hard to argue. I mean, definitely solid. But, I mean, Joe Pyfer had 2 finishes too, right? Nickel had multiple finishes too. So, again, it's hard to say. And Bo Nickel is not only someone where he's getting the finishes, but he's someone where the UFC is quite obviously pushing him as a future star. And that definitely means something. So, we're here for it. And I definitely voted for Bo Nickel. But, man, I wouldn't have been mad with any of those folks winning. Honestly, there was a lot of good options this year. Like I said, we had over 60 rookies make their debut in the UFC this year, and like 60, there was like 140 of them, and 61 of them won. So really, really solid prize pool of these new fighters to watch, and it makes me that much more excited for the future of mixed martial arts. So that's our rookie of the year. Again, we are going to keep on just steamrolling through these folks. Guys, the next one is an interesting one. I had to throw it in there because this year warranted it more than any other year prior. And that is the WTF finish of 2023, aka the what the fuck finish of 2023. What do the fans have to say, Dono?
The what the fun times finish of 2023, aka WTF finish of the year. I gotta go Zach Reese versus Cody Brundage. Simply because my pick.
The what the F finish of 2023. This is a big one. I would definitely have to go into that Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. The amount of publicity that got, the amount of fame that got for TC, just to show that he's levels above everyone else in terms of fighting style. Gotta give it to him. And yeah, I think in terms of being the champ that he is, that was the what the F for me too. Because again, I thought Errol Spence was the dude. The dude. Oh man, there's a lot of WTF finishes here. A lot of really highly voted WTF finishes here as well. Some of the top voted ones here were. We'll give you the top 4. We had Bruno Ferreira against Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. That nice short hook. Feels like it happened years ago at this point with all the action we've seen since then. Errol Spence Jr. obviously coming in against Terrence Crawford. That was my most fruitful night of the entire year as far as sports betting goes. That one came in at 3rd place. Not going to tell you where the rest of these sit.
But the other two that are on the list are Zach Reese and Cody Brundage, and Drakkar Klose versus Joe Solecki for equally the same reason, in being two slam knockouts that happened back to fucking back. Oh, look at that. Would you look at the chat? Average Avenues 11, thank you. The slams back to back was crazy.
Yeah.
You are not lying, my guy.
Couldn't agree more.
Tell us how those made you feel.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think that was definitely the ultimate what the French toast moment for me. So maybe that second of the slam KOs maybe was the more just like, what are we doing here type moment, in my opinion. So either of those choices would have been valid for my vote. I think that's where I ended up leading. I think I might have went with the Drakkar Klose, mostly just because he stole the show with his post-fight speech as well, saying I'll take the easiest fight possible. But again, I want the French toast moment most definitely. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, maybe anything else that's not on there. You know what else was a WTF moment was Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul's boxing event was definitely a WTF moment. Nate Diaz choking out Jake Paul, another WTF moment. I don't know if you have any others that you can think of off the top of your head that you can just recall that were like, what the heck was that? Yeah, those are definitely some though. Those are my picks.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones were definitely those ones that were in the chat there, or rather in the votes. I personally thought that there's a lot of WTF moments of 2023, but I feel like the WTF finishes, we did a pretty good job putting all on the list. For me personally, the one that I voted for was definitely Zach Reese versus Cody Brundage, the slam KO. I had to do it, man. Like, Cody Brundage was heavy dog in that one. A lot of people thought he wasn't a dog. They just thought he was an underdog. And a lot of people were really high on Zach, yourself included. You had a fucking man crush on him.
I
Literally, pretty sure Amy had to step in one of the off frames to wipe your drool off the desk there, buddy.
Still do. Okay. I'm not losing all hope on him, but yeah, I thought he was going to run straight through our boy Cody Brundage, but that was a lie. That was false.
Yeah, dude. It was a fun fight for as long as it lasted, but man, I tried to tell people Cody got that dog in him, man. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, he's got that dog in him. And I do agree, the bum fame knee was very what the fuck, but at the same time, Average Avenues, would you believe me if I told you Terrence McKinney is very similar to Superman in one way, if one way only? The way that Superman has just a crazy vast weakness to kryptonite. When it comes to our guy, Terrence McKinney, he has the craziest weakness to flying knees. Anytime somebody throws a flying knee, that's the only time he's ever been knocked out, by flying knees. And with that one, he didn't even have his mouthpiece in. He had already lost his mouthpiece. So it was just a knee to the face with no mouthpiece. Doesn't feel good. I can't even tell you that it would feel good with a mouthpiece. So my guy. Though that one was a crazy one, I don't think it was as crazy as these slam KOs. Are we ready? Are we ready to unveil the pick here?
I think so. I think it's time.
Oh, it's time for the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award for the WTF finish of 2023. Man, oh man.
I mean, just that picture alone, you're like, oh boy, you know, a world of hurt is right in store, right around the corner for our boy Joe Solecki there.
Getting dropped on his head. Very hard. Yeah, man. I think, again, I feel like if either of the slam knockouts would have won, I would have been happy with it, because like they both deserved the win, folks. Like, those were insane fucking knockouts, and we've seen one in the last like 5-6 years. We saw two in 20 fucking minutes, guys. So come on. Like that was just a WTF moment if I've ever seen one in the entirety of my life. And I think that's why I deserve to win. Again, I would have been happy with either of those winning. Guys, we're nearing the end here. All right. We are trucking right through. I really thought that we were going to have a hard time keeping it within the 2 to 2.5 hour range, just because we have like 18 awards to go through in total. But I mean, we're down to the last 4 at this point, I think. So
home stretch, y'all. Hey, let's go. It's been a fun year. A lot of good stuff. Yeah, we appreciate y'all sticking around. Or if you're watching this later, we'll have all the timestamps and you could zoom on through. And hey, thanks for catching up.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out Nano for taking down the timestamps for us. We should hope to have those on all the future videos moving forward. So yeah, man, trying to step up our game every year. And we appreciate you guys tuning in and being here for the growth. So jumping into the next one, this is probably my favorite, or at least top 3 for me of awards that we're going to give out here in the entirety here. So here we go. Guys, this next one is the best walkout of 2023. Okay. Very, very excited to unveil the winner of this one. I personally think that it's just an incredible winner. And let's go ahead and hear what the fans had to say before we let Nano tell you who he voted for.
Most iconic walkout. Come on, gotta bounce it back again. Korean Zombie. Anytime I heard zombie, that crowd was crazy. So I think that was probably one of my favorite ones of definitely 2023. I think that was insane.
Most iconic walkout song. Gotta be Colby Covington by way of Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle got this one for him. My pick.
For most iconic walkout song, it's probably no surprise, but I'm going to go with Sugar Sean O'Malley. He proved that he is what he said he is. A superstar.
A lot of good options there. Nano, who did you vote for and why?
Oh, man. I mean, there were some good epic walkouts this year, but I'm a homer. And I like how Brandon Staley said it, brother. Leapfrog here. It's short and sweet. He is who he says he is, right? If you are what you say you are, superstar. First off, banger of a song. Have no fear. The camera's here. And the line we roll. Oh. Yeah. Oh. The mic check 1, 2. No. I mean, he made that song iconic again, right? That was pretty legendary, brother. It's a fun melody. It was totally sugar, and obviously the performance backed up behind it. I mean, it was, all things considered. I'm including all of those extra facets to this pick, right? It's the statement he made going in, the statement he made in the octagon, and then now when I think of this year, there are a few people that are synonymous with songs, but now Sugar's that new one that you think of Sugar Sean, you think of Superstar now. That's kind of his new anthem. So I'm leaning that way as well. But I think we're finally going to have to... Are we finally in a disagreement here? Are you going a different direction? You're both sailing a different way?
I mean, for me, I got to go with Zombie. It's tough fair. Not to, man. Like, that's fair, it brought tears to my eyes. It brought chills to my body. It brought goosebumps. It raised the hairs on my arms. Like, it was genuinely one of the most spectacular moments I had ever witnessed as a fan. Yeah, I absolutely loved to see it. Was Zombie at least second for you?
I mean, brother, when we talk about iconic, it's hard not to vote for Zombie, right? And maybe we got to factor in also the walk in and the walk out. Maybe it's all things considered, Zombie's pretty legendary, pretty iconic. I'm 51-49 leaning Superstar in that debate here, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was time for him to retire, and I felt like it made sense. And also just the walkout, everything about it was just visceral. It looked right. It felt right. The only thing that could have made it better was, honestly, if he would have won that fight. So without further ado, it is time for the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards, Best Walkout, or rather Most Iconic Walkout of 2023.
In your head, in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie,
The beautiful rhythmic sounds.
Those vocals are on point. Let's go.
You know what I'm
Who was that?
I don't even know, man.
Is that
But
the
I mean,
Cranberries live or what? Is that an acoustic?
it had to have been a new acoustic rendering of that song for sure, guys.
More like the Huckleberries over here. That ain't no. That ain't no
Zombie
Cranberries.
got it
The
done.
Huckleberries.
Zombie got it done. We are the Huckleberries. You can find us at a local pub near you, drunk and singing.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
He said, "What was that?" That was literally me and Nano singing in different videos that I then took the audio of and combined and layered together to make a beautiful rhythmic barrage.
No auto tune either.
No auto tune. We don't need that shit. I mean, our tune wasn't even the same. I literally had to like cut seconds out to make a match. But you know, we made it work, guys. We made it work, and it happened here.
Oh man, fantastic!
Got it done, and so did you guys with the votes here. I think again, this is one of those where the right person won. Best walkout of the year. Come on, guys!
Iconic, certainly iconic. I mean, it's everyone is singing it. That's everything about it. You gotta appreciate. I'm just a homer, frankly, but it's a good one.
Sean O'Malley did come in second place. I will tell you guys that. It was a fairly close bid here. It was a very close play. It was 33.3% to 27.8%.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very close. The third place runner-up was John Jones. The champ is here. Also very iconic. Like John Jones is definitely champion caliber. And, you know, we hadn't seen him in some time. So we had been missing him. We had been wanting to see the guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself. And we got to see him. And it lasted like a whopping 15 seconds for him to get a fucking guillotine. So it is what it is, folks. We are down to the bottom three, or I guess I should say the top three of the year. Well, the top three that matter. This next one is just a for funsies one here. But we're going to jump into it anyways, guys. The best MMA breakdown program. Let's hear what the fans had to say first, and then me and Nano will let you know who we voted for. Going to be, again, one of the few things we agreed on, I feel.
Best MMA breakdown program. Now, this one was difficult. There's a lot of great programs out there. But you want to know my pick? It's the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. Shout out to Big O. Shout out to Nano. And that one's my pick because they're simply the best. That is the context you need and can live off of.
Best MMA breakdown program. What am I, dumb? You know, if I decide on anything else, I mean, I think it'd be ignorant. You know, the greatest show on turf is MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. That's the one, baby. All day. You know it. It was an honor to join it when I could, and it's an honor anytime I get back in there, baby. That's the one.
What's up, guys? UFC President Dana White here. We're one day out from fucking Fridays. I just wanted to drop in and say the winner for the most improved podcast of the year goes to the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. Make sure you drop a like, a comment, subscribe on these guys. They're going to be big in the next few years.
Wow, dude. Dana White showing up on the episode? Wow.
Uncle Dana? What up, Uncle Dana?
Gracing us with his presence. Really appreciate it. Give him a round of applause, folks. Love to see it. Love to see it. Uncle Dana. Uncle Dana made it. I feel like, I don't know, if Uncle Dana shows up, he never comes alone. So that tells me there might be another celebrity cameo before the end of this whole thing. I don't know. I don't want to, no spoilers here, but we'll see, folks.
Sheesh.
No. First of all, how do you feel about Uncle Dana gracing us with his presence on the award show here? And second of all, who do you think deserves this award? Who'd you vote for?
I mean, man, Well, yeah, Uncle Dana showing up to carve out time before his fucking Friday is, I mean, fantastic. You got to appreciate that. Huge shout out, Dana. And he's got a busy 2024 ahead of us. Hopefully he keeps us spoiled with some good fights, but I did not expect that. I mean, we've been talking. I don't know where that came from. I need to double check. I might need to run it back and make sure that wasn't an AI Dana White, but Uncle Dana was looking good there. And the Top Gun, I felt like that was the dead giveaway. He was the Top Gun. I mean, who else would it be? It's Maverick here. Come on. So
we all know that.
That's an obvious. I know around about it. I know that. Yeah, man, as I'm gathering my thoughts here, I mean, a lot of great programs, a lot of great MMA programs out there. A lot of great places to find breakdowns. A lot of great places to hear people talk, you know, and there's different levels, right? And we're not going to sit here and act like we're some ESPN sponsored studio. There's no DraftKings sponsorship here. You know, this isn't the Hawani show. And let me just take a quick step back here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're still sticking around, then you're a real one. So I'm just go ahead and take a moment here to just shout out the one and only MMAnomaly. Right on cue with the claps. I mean, this production, there's no team. Okay. There's no third wall. There's no fifth dimension here, right? This is what you see is what you get. Okay. So the fact that we even have all this production, I mean, the lead-ins, the graphics, what you see in front of you here, what you're listening to on the audio version, if you happen to go there. If you don't get a chance to check us out visually, please do. But man, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like Tien said, what is you dumb? How do I not? I mean, usually I want to be humble and, you know, mention how I'm, you know, an avid Anik Florian fan, and I'm always watching RCDC and, you know, weighing in. Although I kind of fell off on them as of lately, you know, the MMA Hour. I mean, there's again a lot of great places to get some content, right? I mean, the list goes on, but ain't nobody does it like the MMAnomaly, man. We're building something here, man. We got a great tight knit community. We got Mad Max. We got, we got everyone in the chat today here. Tico Tech. I mean, man, the list goes on. It's exciting to see what we're building here, man. And again, you're the Wizard of Oz. You're the magician behind it all. So in terms of production, in terms of content, in terms of just relatability, authenticity, I mean, brother, we are as real as it gets. And if you stay tuned, you might even get some good music. You might get some good knowledge tidbits. You might get some good comic tidbits, some fantasy football tidbits here, maybe on my own channel as I, you know, divert here and spread my drive turkey wings. But hey, man, we're the one. We them boys, as we used to say back in the day. We them MMA boys, but no filter. MMAnomaly, man. It's we're building something over here, brother. So how do we not? And still.
All right, good job, champ. Whoa, that was cool.
That might have been the best compliment setup I've ever gotten. My head probably isn't going to fit through the doorway after this episode. I appreciate it, Nano. Give it up for Live Jive, folks, the host with the most. It's been a blessing having you on this year, and honestly, every year to come from here on forward, man. Truly, we have forged a brotherhood before this, and it is only strengthened by this podcast and by the viewers that make it here each and every week. We appreciate you guys and gals every single time you're able to come here. And if you're not able to come, we appreciate you being here in spirit. With that being said, I'd be lying if I said I voted for us, or I voted for myself, rather. I voted for the John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast because that is somebody, or rather a podcast that inspires me. John Anik is just a vast inspiration. His mouthpiece in general is very inspiring. The way that he's able to generate excitement with just his voice, just the things that he's able to say, second to none. The fact that any of you guys would put us on that pedestal or even in the same conversation as them makes me blush. I'm extremely flattered. And again, I can't thank God or anyone else any more than I already do, or enough for that matter, for the co-host that I have, for the support system that I have here at home, that he has at home, and also just for all the support of each and every one of you guys and gals that joins us typically every Monday and Wednesday when we go live. So without further ado, it's time to jump into the votes and see how things turned out for the best MMA breakdown show of 2023 on the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards. Whoa! Nano's having trouble getting it up right now. I promise this never happens to him. Harder. Harder. Come on, baby boy. You can do it. Squeeze that, baby boy. Oh, God. Nano should have stopped at the gas station for some of those pills. That's happening right now, dude. Oh, my goodness. What is happening? I can't even hear him now. Oh, he's on mute. Let me unmute you. I got you. I'll unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you because you muted yourself.
I was like, at least one of us went. Am I right?
Woo! Yes!
Let's go. Let's go. Woo, better late than never, am I right? Let's go.
Holy
Let's
shit.
go. Oh,
Holy
I think
shit,
that was
incredible, bro. Honestly, that couldn't have gone any better. Like if you would have actually done that on time, I don't even know, dude.
That was quite an explosion. That was nice.
Dude,
that was
same.
fun.
I'm glad I put a napkin over my shot glass preemptively because I felt like it was probably gonna just get confettied. And I definitely have to vacuum. I was not expecting this much confetti. Woof, man.
There's a lot.
I can tell you one person that was not a fan. You can actually see him right there in the corner. Look at Buck Moose. He was under the desk and he's all, "Are we in the middle of Vietnam right now, you guys?"
Yeah. I have two dogs here right now. They did not love that one either, but worth it. Worth it.
Totally worth it. We appreciate the votes.
What up, JJ Smoke? Long time no see, brother.
And welcome to the chat, JJ Smoke. Yeah, I feel like this is probably a great time to pour one up. I mean, we just won an award.
One step ahead of you.
I don't win a ton of awards. Oh, you already got it poured up. Of course you do. My guy. It's the reason he's the co-host, guys. It's truly an honor to win this, and to win any award would feel great, but to win this award feels extra special. And the votes, literally, this is the biggest landslide of all the voting, which
let's go.
I don't know if you guys thought that if you didn't vote for me, I wouldn't like put the rest of your stuff up or what, but either way, I appreciate it, man. It definitely stroked my ego. So out of the 52 responses received, we got 32 of them.
Hell yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
It was 61% for us, or 61.5% for us. And the closest to us was Ariel Hawani's MMA Hour with 6 votes, sitting at 11.5%. So
really? Huh.
Landslide victory, folks. You love to see it. You love to see it. Let's clear the confetti off my chaser here. And cheers to the first win of hopefully many in the future, my guy.
This is for all of us, y'all. Thank you, guys.
With that being said, quick little break. Man, that was incredible.
We were confettied.
Awards bumper so that way I could let my little confetti helper escape the room, as they have been hiding in the corner valiantly for about 5 minutes. So
nice.
Man, that was fantastic. Yeah, I was super happy to see that. Who is Walrads? Either way, happy to see you here. Chris Jericho is an innocent man, they said in the chat. All right, we're with you.
Well, I mean, we'll let that be upheld in the court of law. Okay. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, though. I will say that's. No, just kidding. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, I was like, am I dead?
I know, I'm David. No, I don't know. I just wanted to be very serious. But
all right, guys. Well, now we have the last few here. Again, probably the best 4 that we saved for last here, guys. We got best submission, we got best KO, we got best fight, and then we're gonna cap it all off to close out the show with the MMAnomaly of the year, aka the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hear what the fans had to say about the best submission of 2023.
For the best submission of 2023, I'm handing that to John Bones Jones. He beat a very impressive Cyril Gahn via first round gilly, and it wasn't even close. He didn't even give us a chance to doubt him.
Best submission of 2023, John Jones. John Jones.
Grasso's rear naked choke. Talk about the surprise of the century. Everybody lost their absolute minds. It's been so incredible to watch her come up as well. Who isn't excited for her? Who doesn't love her? So definitely best submission of 2023, Alexa Grasso.
This one's pretty much, I don't want to call it a no-brainer because it's borderline insulting, but it's kind of a no-brainer. And if you're not giving the nod to Mr. Blackshear with the twister submission, then you're probably doing it wrong. This is like the third or fourth occurrence of this submission in the entirety of UFC history. So just for rarity alone, you kind of have to give the nod to the guy, but it's also not the easiest thing to set up and actually pull off and get the tap with. You see it some in sport jiu-jitsu a little bit, guys playing truck positions, similar things like that. But based off those reasons, I think Mr. Blackshear gets the submission of the year with the twister.
Most people forget this submission, but it's going to be David Grant's submission of Rafael and Sanso, and it's in the inverted triangle. Again, if you haven't seen it or you're forgetting about it, it is a must-watch. David Grant was down on the scorecards, and he had a point deducted as well, and he needed a finish. And to pull off an inverted triangle to win a fight, mental. So David Grant is my submission of the year. Got to go in there, and hopefully many of you do remember that submission, because it was what a submission it was.
So, man, Wallrads, I don't know who this guy is in the chat, but he's going in on you.
Uh-oh.
He's going in on you. He said Chris Jericho is an innocent man, and to which, you hated on him. He says, the way you say that with such disdain, thank you to the main host for being fair and unbiased. He's innocent until proven guilty. The man on the right has such disdain for Jericho.
Oh, man, I said that in complete joking and humoric fashion. I don't even know who Chris Jericho is. Wallrats,
you
my
don't
brother.
know who Chris Jericho is? Oh my gosh.
I generally don't even know.
Everybody who sees this young man this year at International Fight Week, you have my permission to hit him with a blast double and then give him the Walls of Jericho submission.
Fair enough. Then that's probably what I have come into me because, yeah, again, I don't even know who that is, but no disdain, no ill will. I did mention innocent and proven guilty, brother. I am on your side. One team, one dream. Yeah, no, my bad. But no disdain in my body, brother. I definitely did not mean to offend anybody.
Brother's going in on you, dude.
Hey, and I will say there is a reason why.
Read this one out loud.
The man on the left is a good host. He is the host, and the man on the right is not. I am the co-host. There's a reason for that. Okay, there's a pecking order. All right.
What is happening in the chat right now?
Oh man,
the Walls is necessary now, bro. Fun fact: last year, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not afraid of being proven wrong here. I will openly admit to it if I'm wrong, especially if you prove me wrong. But I believe last year or a year before was the first time in mixed martial arts that a fighter won a actual professional mixed martial arts fight with Chris Jericho's old signature WWE move, the Walls of Jericho. It was incredible. He made the guy tap out with the Walls of Jericho. And he was doing like double thumbs up while doing it. It was incredible.
Oh, so he's a wrestler. Okay. Oh man.
Chris Jericho is like
I didn't mean to offend that community. Yeah, that's on me.
Possibly inside of your parents, and not even an afterthought.
Yeah, I might have been. Yeah, fair.
Man, oh man.
Oh boy.
If we're being honest though, Chris Jericho did have one of the funnest submissions in WWE. I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah. And I mean, frankly, what did he do? I
have no idea. We're gonna move on from this so we don't get derailed. I thought maybe Wallrads was somebody that you knew, but I mean, he's even turning our chat against us, man. Everyone's saying you deserve the Walls of Jericho. So,
oh no!
All right, guys, you heard it here first.
We started a revolution.
International Fight Week. This guy's probably going to end up getting put in the Walls of Jericho, and you can expect to see a video of it on the MMAnomaly show, No Filter.
Oh no! Talk about opening up a can of worms, huh?
Jeez. No, just kidding. But all jokes aside, guys, we're talking about the KO of the year here. Nano. There were so many good options for KO of the year. It's hard to just choose one. But that being said, I'll take the lead on this one and let you know recency bias is a son of a bitch. Is it not? Dude.
I mean, it definitely is. And honestly, that was one thing I think is important to remember as you're thinking about these awards is you got to recall the first 6 months of the year, right? What was going on? What are the different things that happened? I mean, the fact that Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso fought twice.
This guy's definitely blowing us off, dude. We're on fucking submission. What am I talking about?
Right. That's what I was going to mention. You mentioned
Ash literally just in the fan thing went over the inverted triangle from Davey Grant. But even then, I will say the same point applies, my guy.
Yeah.
Recency bias is a son of a bitch, right? Because I feel like there was a lot of them that really deserve to get higher votes on this one. Looking at you, Damon Blackshear. Come on.
That's the one for me. Yeah. I mean, that's
just the one you voted for?
Yes. Now, there are different ways to look at this, right?
This is the most we've agreed in one night ever.
I love it. Well, there's different ways to look at it. My voting is not consistent, and I don't know if anyone else is, but because when you look at the stage,
don't yourself, bro, your voting is pretty consistent.
I know. Well, when you look at the stage, right? Because it's like, okay, there's different ways to look at it. Is it the individual submission itself, or are you taking in the stage and what was at stake and what was to come with that submission victory, right? And I think that's why when you look at Alexa Grasso's at that stage in the fight, in the 4th round, she might have been losing it that might have been the 5th round actually. But late stages of the championship rounds to be losing and to get that, dig that victory out of it, to find that submission, to get her back. So slippery, so fast, so talented, that in itself, extremely impressive, right? And then even the Ciryl Gane and John Jones. I mean, John Jones, what he did to that man, oh boy, I mean, made mincemeat of the kid, right? Took him back to to elementary school. So that was impressive in and of itself as well, right? But we're talking about a twister here, ladies and gentlemen. This was the 3rd twister in UFC history. It's been around for 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. That's one every 10 years. I don't know.
You gotta mention that, bro.
I think that's worth something, right? That should be worth something. I mean, I know the winners of the other 2 got their championships, but let's give Damon Blackshear, let's give credit where it's due, man. This guy, that's a hell of a performance. So that was my choice. It looks like we're on the same page.
I mean, for sure. I voted for the twister. Average Avenues 11 voted for the twister. And Average Avenues 11 is even throwing out, like, Alexa changed the color of Val's face. And he's admitting that he voted for the twister too over that. So I say to the people that voted for Alexa Grasso for the face crank, and I respond with this. Sure, she changed the color of her opponent's face. And that doesn't happen very often, if ever, especially to Valentina Shevchenko. Let's again call a spade here. But changing the color of someone's face is very different than changing the curvature of someone's fucking spine. And that's what Damon Blackshear did. He bent someone's body a way that it's not supposed to bend. And if that man didn't tap, he would have literally gotten his spine broken. He was twisting him and contorting his body in a way that it's not meant to contort or bend. So when you put someone in that type of situation where they genuinely have to tap out, and I mean, the same could actually be said about Alexa Grasso face cranking or neck cranking Valentina Shevchenko, because with a neck crank, I mean, if you start to spin and twist it, it's either you tap or you get your neck broken. So I think either of those are very good, right? But a lot of people were shouting out John Bones Jones, right? He came out there, he got the guillotine after 3-year layoff, but he got the 3-year layoff and then the guillotine over someone that we've seen have a deficit when it comes to grappling, guys. We've seen it. So for me, I just feel like the twister is harder to set up. It's harder to pull off. Like Mad Max Meridian said it in the video, right? Like the twister isn't something that's easy to do. And if it was, it'd probably have been done more than 3 times in, I don't know, the last fucking 30 years of the promotion. So for me, it was an easy one for the twister. But again, recency bias is a son of a bitch. And so is namesake and name value. So without further ado, the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards submission of the year. don't agree with it, but it is what it is, you know? John Jones ended up getting it done.
I mean, in terms of the most dominance, you could definitely make a case that that was just by far the most dominant submission victory of the year. It took no more than 10, 15 seconds. I think John Anik might have just got his speech out of this fight is brought to you by Modelo, and it's over.
These men are both fighting custody battles for their children.
Oh, jeez.
It's all over.
And that's it. And he's got to
Just
hold them, Joe.
like that.
Ooh, that looks deep, Joe.
It's in. It's deep.
And he's out of here.
Oh man. Yeah, honestly, I get it. Few people in the world are as dominant as John Bones Jones. You know, shout out Khabib. Just gotta say. But man, the fact that he came back after 3 years made it look genuinely easy, for lack of better words. Like, I don't know another way to put it. He just made it look easy out there. Doesn't matter who he did it over. I thought Ghana had a chance to beat him just because of his striking prowess and kind of how strong and powerful he is and looks. And he made him look like a little boy. Yeah, man. I mean, like,
yeah,
he literally had Cyril Ghana looking for grappling skills. Like,
where are you?
Because he made him tap very quickly. And he left him sitting on his butt, looking up like, whoa, what just happened? That was sad. So you love to see it. You hate to see it. As Foghorn Leghorn from the Looney Tunes says, it was the best of times. I said it was the worst of times. And John Bones Jones got it done, man. So he's the quote unquote GOAT for a reason. The champ is here. Came out here. He got it done. Didn't get a scratch on him. He actually could have delivered the most cringe post-fight speech of the year, and it could have actually went down as one of the best post-fight speeches of the year. You know, this is one of the easiest fights in my career. I don't have a scratch on me. I could fight Stipe in 2 months. That would have been the post-fight speech of the year, probably. But instead, he's not going to fight Stipe this year, and he's probably not going to fight Tommy Aspinall this year. Nano, what are your thoughts on that winner?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, just my 2 cents are that, yeah, I mean, John Bones Jones, I do think given the circumstances, given the layoff, given the pure dominance, and yeah, some of the concerns I had going into that were similar to yours. How strong is he going to look? How is he going to deal with the striking? And I mean, I guess best way to deal with that is just not give him a chance, right? If there's a fire going on, what do you want to do? You want to smother it. So John Bones Jones did, and it was a great performance by the champ.
God bless you, my co-host with the most. And can we just give it up? Give him a round of applause. That was a fantastic analogy. Honestly, like when there's a fire brewing, you got to smother it. It was a great call out there. Great way to put that, Nano. And that's why you're the fucking best.
Hey, man, that's what Sean Strickland did to Izzy Adesanya, right? I mean, how do you neutralize a threat? Yeah, if I can smother that puppy. So, yeah, man, it's top of mind, something I was thinking about earlier. So, it might be sticking around. Added to our list of MMAnomaly slogans and acronyms or whatever other often said things around here.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So obviously I've been itching to talk about the KO of the year since I almost jumped the fucking gun and started talking about it. So we will go ahead and let the fans take the lead on this one. Let's see what they had to say about the KO of the year 2023.
The best knockout of 2023 was a tough one for me to vote on, but I gotta give it to Sugar Sean O'Malley. Not only was it in one of the greatest moments of his life, everything was at stake, but he delivered one of the most beautiful pistol straight rights I've ever seen and knocked Aljamain Sterling right on his ass.
Right, so for my KO of the year, I may get a little bit of stick for this, but I'm going to go for Justin Gaethje's KO of Dustin Poirier. And the reason I say that is because just I did not expect Justin Gaethje to finish Dustin Poirier in the way he did. If he was going to do it, it was going to be leg kicks, not a head kick. So, yeah, my KO of the year is going to be Justin Gaethje's KO of Dustin Poirier.
Best knockout of 2023. This was another hard one for me to choose between, but I had to give it to Poirier and Gaethje. I'm a huge Gaethje fan, so I'm also a Taekwondo practitioner at heart. As a kid, that's what I did, and so as a little karate kid, that was the dream head kick knockout that every little kid wants when they're growing up. So get to see it on TV like that was kind of a little dream come true. Definitely was living vicariously through him on that one. Chef's kiss to Gaethje.
Best knockout of 2023, Sugar Sean. My pick.
Man, there were a lot.
Wow. Love the submissions. Yes.
Man, I'll take the lead on this one. For me, again, recency bias is a son of a bitch. I had to go in and cast my vote for Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. It didn't have the most backstory or steam on it. It was a short notice pickup fight for Bryce Mitchell. Obviously, if we're talking about what fight meant the most, Dustin Poirier was 1 over Justin Gaethje, 1-0 over him. Now they're 1-1. I think that one just set up a rematch, if anything. That's why I didn't vote for it being the best, because it just set up another rematch, right? It didn't end anything. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 2. Arguably one of the most picture-perfect knockouts you'll see. He set it up perfectly. He set up leg kicks, set up body kicks, and then he went high when his opponent least expected it. Ended up landing the head kick knockout. The one with the most steam on it was probably Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. And the reason for that is his opponent was 3-0 over him, guys. Like, it's tough. It's tough pickings. So he needed this win. It looked like he was getting rocked. It looked like he was getting beat up and just inevitably going to lose again for a third, fourth time to this guy, right? So he ended up getting it done, though, while he was eating these shots. And just dropped this guy Pereira. So got the vengeance, did the bow and arrow, fucking hit him with his own medicine. It was beautiful to see. But ultimately for me, it had to be that last one that we saw. It's been years since I saw someone get knocked out so hard that they twitched on the floor like a fish out of water. The last one that comes to memory, that comes to mind, is Terry Edom coming in against Edson Barboza, the spinning back wheel kick from hell that gave him that reputation that we all know him for the spinning back wheel kicks. And man, Josh Emmett was able to do that to Bryce Mitchell, who doesn't typically go down like that ever. So that was my pick. A bit of recency bias behind it, but curious to hear who you had winning the best knockout of the year and why.
Man, great year of knockouts. That's maybe why a lot of us tune in every Saturday or to watch somebody get knocked the fuck out, as Smokey would say. But yeah, fun year. A lot of great choices. Did love the breakdowns. I love how one of the awesome community members here mentioned the Taekwondo background, the Justin Gaethje one for the BMF title. That one was definitely up there. Izzy Adesanya, again, his redemption over Alex Pereira. Then Alex came back, was able to knock out Yuri with that left hook of death. Man, I mean, what was the other one I was thinking of? I mean, there's a few to list. I mean, even I mean, the flying knee, Nick, that, you know, Dalby landed. Yep. I mean, there's a few.
Brother over Dalby.
Yep.
And then also, the one that Dalby got on the other Bonfim brother.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's so many fun ones to choose from. But in my opinion, the one that stole the cake for me was Sugar Sean O'Malley. I love the kicks. I love, even like you said, Islam as well. But boy, oh boy, was there something about just all the talk going into it. Aljamain was talking a lot of mess. I mean, the odds certainly suggested that Sugar was going to get ran through. And if I'm being honest, I mean, I'm a fan, but boy, was I worried. I mean, we could check the receipts. I wasn't sitting here acting like he was going to do that. I think Dana White had one of my favorite press fight conferences with Dana after post fight. That is, he mentioned like he's like asked me, he's like, who here in this room thought that Sugar Sean O'Malley was going to win this fight? He's like, there's maybe 70 of you in here. He's like, there's 3 hands raised. He's like, where are you from? And then one of the guys from Montana, where Sugar Sean's from. it was just hysterical. Like, yeah, my thought exactly. Like, that's why you love the sport. That's why, hey, if you got the hands and if you know spacing and if you stick to your, focused game plan, anything can happen, man. It's crazy, right? It was almost reminiscent, especially when you see him drilling it leading into the fight, similar to like the Conor McGregor hook or knockout, I should say, over Jose Aldo, right? Where you're chirping all week, you're getting him out off of his game. You know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to rush in. He's going to get off of his game plan a little bit. He's going to overextend just a little bit. And all you need is in this beautiful, violent sport is that small margin of error, that little bit of spacing, especially if you're master class at knowing where you are, where they are, where you can get to, where they can't get you. Boy, oh boy, it's one of the best chess games out there. So get off my soapbox here. Sugar Sean O'Malley. I mean, man, it was a thing of art. I can watch it over and over and over again. Want to correct Brandon Staley. I think he mentioned him knocking him on his ass. Correction, he knocked him on his face. And then he piled in a few more extra shots after that. But that was my knockout of the year. Most memorable. Obviously, Adesanya's was up there, but got to give it to my boy Sugar Sean on this one.
100%. Got to give it to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I mean, like, it's hard not to because of what he did, and not only that, but who he did it against. I truly think that it's oftentimes not necessarily what you do, but who you do it against and how you do it, right? That matters the most. So that being said, I mean, he did go out there and beat an absolute world breaker, in my opinion, in Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain looked like a beast against Petr Yan, and he went out there and hit him with the Conor McGregor versus Aldo special. The step back, long, just a pistol straight, as Brendan Stanley put it, left hand. And it was beautiful to see. I was here for it 100%. I wish I could say I couldn't believe it, but I definitely could. And I've seen the argument that, man, if Aljo would have connected with that previous strike that he slipped, it would have ended it. Maybe so. It's a fat if. And that also means that Sugar Sean led him in with it, pulled back to make him bite further in, which opened that chin and that jawline up, loosened him up to just become prey instead of predator in that blink of an eye. Beautiful showcase for him. He went out there, he got it done. But again, I got to go with the most brutal, most vicious one. And for me, the most vicious one was the one-shot knockout where it left the man flopping on the floor like a fish. So without further ado, it is time for the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award Knockout of the Year 2023. Look at that knockout, baby. Josh Emmett. This one was another one where it was a pretty close running. So Josh Emmett got 37% of the votes. 20.4% of the votes went to Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 2. And it was a two-way tie for third place between Alex Pereira versus Izzy 2 in the UFC. And Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. So other votes that we ended up receiving in were simply Derek Lewis, not versus anybody, just Derek Lewis. So that's one. Bonfim versus McKinney, and Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 2. So all of those are viable options. Again, I personally think the right person won here. It was definitely the most vicious knockout of the year. Had anybody else won, I don't think I would have argued.
Yeah, most memorable, though. I mean, this one was absolutely vicious, like you said. And I think the one thing that stood out with me, listening to Josh Emmett talk about it after, or not even the after, but I saw it after. I saw this video after the fight, and he mentioned being a baseball player. And there was a video, I think it might be, it might be from that Jackson podcast, like kind of a newer podcast that's out, but Rampage was on there holding the bag. Maybe he was talking to another UFC guy, or just maybe it was a random guy, but the random guy was hitting the bag, kind of showing him like, how do you throw this overhand punch? hit the bag a couple times. Josh Emmett came up. He's like, I kind of use like my baseball background. Open up my hips, like my feet are here. He's like, and I kind of just break over the top, and then he does it on the bag. And Rampage, of all people, who's not the type to just like compliment anyone just to compliment him, but he literally like gets Josh Emmett hits the bag, and Rampage John Jackson's like, whoa. He's like, I felt the difference there. That was different. Like, you can tell there's some oomph behind that. And if you watch the video, he's maybe dialing up 20%. So I had like a light bulb moment in my head where I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, as someone that used to pitch and was able to throw a 92 mile an hour fastball at one point, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy can probably dial that back pretty fast. And boy, oh boy, I mean, getting hit with one of those, I mean, point blank, I mean, yeah, good luck. I mean, good luck to anybody. So that's my new favorite punch, and that's by far the most vicious, most memorable knockout just in the octagon. Like, everything else, like, if there's nothing else to factor in, no championships on the belt, no odds in DraftKings, just the fight itself, that one by far takes the cake.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just an absolutely wild one. Yeah, I love knockouts like that, man. Just visceral, instantaneous, ones that genuinely shake you to your core and make you like genuinely question, like, is that person okay? But they somehow make you just as excited as they make you nervous and worried. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with those kinds of knockouts, folks. Now we're down to the last two here. Looks like we just have the best fight of the year and then the MMAnomaly of the year. So when it comes to best fight of the year, we had some pretty solid fan submissions here. We'll go ahead and play those first. Let's hear what the fans had to say about the best fight of 2023.
Best fight of 2023. Irene Aldana versus Carol Rosa. Bloodbath. Loved it. Dogs. My pick.
Best fight of 2023. This is a hard one. There's a lot of great fights this past year. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Islam just doing damage, both on standing and then, taking him to the ground. But, Alexander Volkanovski, being the beast that he is to be able to withstand that, and then going into the fifth round, still be able to do damage on him. Got to give it to both the fighters for putting up numbers there. So I think truly that was the best fight of the year for me.
The best fight of 2023, I'm giving that to Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski 1. That was one of the best back and forth fights I've ever seen. A battle of coaches, a battle of will, and they left it all in the octagon. There were no losers in that fight. Shout out to both fighters. Incredible.
I completely agree with Brandon Stanley in this one. I feel like Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, for me, both of those fights were absolutely incredible. Both guys left it all out there exactly like he said. You had two guys that were just a never say no response, right? Like, both these guys are just not willing to take no for an answer. Both left it all on the line out there. They were just, it was a slobber knocker, right? Like, they're beating the hell out of each other that first fight. Both guys got dropped. I know one of them didn't count the other one as a drop, but dude, that was my pick. You had two fights to choose from for it.
Yeah, absolute banger. Yeah, that first fight was absolutely ridiculous. Slobber knocker, like you mentioned. And not just because it was two people just throwing caution to the wind. It was two of the baddest motherfuckers of our era. Literally number one pound for pound versus number two. Champ versus champ. Yeah, it was everything it had, everything it has to offer and some. Like, I mean, everything on paper. And boy, it was a fun 25 minutes. And if you want to add the extra, 5 or 7, however long that second bout was, which was a different Volkanovski, obviously taking on short notice, everything considered. But those are two guys that are willing to throw it all on the line at any time. So definitely deserving a fight of the year. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 1. But as far as the women fights go, I mean, boy, oh boy, that Irene Aldana versus Carol Rosa. like they were mentioning on the video submissions, man. I mean, 15 minutes of just pure violence. You thought Irene was out of there. She came back. Both girls were bloody. It was an absolute fun fight. That one's a little bit more caution of the wind. Reminds me of that high school fight that was in the back alley, and teachers and security guards weren't able to get there in time. So you just see two chicks going at it, and that's exactly what you got there as well. So some great options, some great fights. We are spoiled this year, man. The Moreno Pantoja one's another one just to throw out there real quick. Dustin's win over Michael Chandler, another banger. I mean, dude, so many fun ones. Justin Gaethje versus Fiziev. I mean, you want to talk about Taekwondo? You want to talk about mixed martial arts? Those boys were banging. Oh boy, Muay Thai. You want to talk about two freaking dogs? Some of the baddest motherfuckers swinging and banging.
An absolute beast.
Yeah, sucks for his injury, but dude's an absolute fucking savage. So
he's a future contender.
A lot of fun ones this year, man, for sure.
Abso-fucking-lutely, my guy. So with that being said, let's find out, guys, who the MMAnomaly Show No Filter Award for Fight of the Year goes to. There it is, folks.
Let's go.
Islam Makhachev versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. What else is there to say that hasn't already been said? Not one, but two absolute barn burners for the books here. These folks went out there. They left it all on the line. They got it all done. And I mean, Alex stepped up on short notice this last time. Good on him. Maybe not the best fight IQ move in the world, but man, he didn't lose any fans, right? Everybody gained nothing but respect for him, nothing but kudos for him. They loved to see it. So we love to see it too. And I'm happy with the outcome of that, obviously, as an Islam Makhachev fan. Been telling people about his kicks for years. It's very nice to see that happen in real life and get numerous DMs of people saying, holy shit, you've been talking about his kicks forever. They are pretty good, huh? So, I mean, they're good enough to knock out the number one pound for pound best, I guess.
I don't know. Is that good?
I guess. Is that all right? Pretty good? Did it break it?
Yeah, man. Those Dagestani boys, Islam's collecting them. And no, we're not just homers here, okay? This is well-deserved. We did not vote on this ourselves, okay? But it was an obvious choice. I mean, two of the best going at it, tit for tat, needed the full 25 minutes and some. I wish there was like a bonus round. That would have been a freaking just fighters delight, fight fans delight, I should say. But boy, oh boy, that was the obvious choice here, I say.
Absolutely 100% agree with you there, brother. Yeah, I think this, like you said, I think you said it best when you said we were spoiled this year, right? When there's numerous options that are close and solid picks, and there's different people in the chat saying different options, we were probably pretty spoiled this year if there wasn't that clear of a winner. So take it in stride and just enjoy the ride, folks.
Good problems to have, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Good problem to have, man. First world problems. Jumping into the final category. Guys, we've made it. We've done it, guys. Just barely over the normal show time. We just have one final reward left to go. And that last award is the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, as most shows call it. But here, we like to call it MMAnomaly of the Year. Why do we call it that? For those of you that are new, for those of you that are returning, what does MMAnomaly mean? How did I land on that name? Well, I've been obsessed with mixed martial arts for, the last 2 to 3 decades at least. And that's where the MMA comes from, mixed martial arts. The word anomaly means something that is different or breaks the norm. I've been told my entire life that I'm quite different. So are my picks when it comes to MMA. I like to go for dogs. I like to look for nuances and patterns that maybe some other people don't see. And as a result, I like to think I give a little bit of a different take than most of the MMA podcasts you listen to. And that's why we call ourselves the MMAnomaly Show. And Thus, an MMA anomaly is a mixed martial artist that stood out. It was a little bit different, aka the MMA anomaly of the year. So, without further ado, let's hear what the fans had to say for their picks for Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, aka the MMA Anomaly of the Year award.
Breakthrough Fighter of the Year 2023, aka the MMA Anomaly Fighter of the Year award. I gotta go Shavkat Rakhmonov, my boy, and my pick.
For Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, that's going to Sean Strickland. He went toe-to-toe with one of the greatest strikers in the history of the UFC. Not only did he not go for a single takedown, but he dominated every single round. Give this man his props.
Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, aka the MMA Anomaly of the Year. This is a hard one for me. To be honest with you, I'm a big fan of Tom Aspinall, what he was able to come back from his adversity and come back in and get the interim champ. So I'd have to go with Tom Aspinall. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he's going to do numbers in this upcoming year.
How am I not Fighter of the Year? This is fucking bullshit. MMAnomaly, however you say it. It's fucking bullshit. I'm one of 2 people to have ever dropped Tony Ferguson. Fucking hell. I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the MMA Anomaly of the Year. It's gonna be me. I'm a fucking Scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out. You know it's fucking bullshit because I know the co-host, Jav Turkey. He must have voted for me. I know he's a big fan.
Wow. Paddy Pimblett making his return, or rather his debut on the MMA Anomaly Show No Filter Awards. My goodness.
Wow.
My goodness.
Wow.
Tell us how you feel about that. I don't know if you know this, but he's a sorcerer. And I hear sorcerers don't get knocked out.
Pulling out all the stops. And well, like Patty mentioned, we are close friends. He is a fellow Jive Turkey, and I'm a fellow Scouser in his neighborhood. But no, I mean, as much as I want to vote for my boy Patty the Batty, this is a big award, right? This is our MMA Anomaly. This is the No Filter. Who is the MMA Anomaly of the Year? And who else is the poster child of our first and only MMA Anomaly shirt but our boy Sean Strickland, serving nothing but meats and potatoes all freaking year, baby. Let's go.
Let's
just gonna leave that here for everyone.
Let's go. He's the epitome of a meat and potato striker, folks. He is the guy that you obviously voted for here.
So clean.
Is that who you voted for? I'm guessing.
Yes. Sorry.
Right.
Yes. After the promotion. After my promotional stint
I love
there.
the selfless plug here, brother.
Yeah, Sean, all the way, baby.
So yeah, I mean, I also voted for Sean on this one. Like, let's be honest here. Let's just call a spade here, folks. He should be the MMA Anomaly. I have the poster here in the background, right there. Boom, there he is. Of him against Israel Adesanya, and he wasn't supposed to go out there and beat Israel Adesanya. If he was going to do it, I think it would have been an easier to digest, an easier to swallow pill if he did get the finish in the first round, because that's more realistic than him going out there and dominating the best striker of the middleweight division. Man, oh man. Miss Mary in the chat says that Ian Gary's wife says it's Ian Gary, that he's the MMA Anomaly of the Year. I just hope she gave him permission to accept the award.
Yeah, okay. Taking ricochets out here. All right, fair enough. I like it.
Jesus, dude, what? Wait, why did I get bleeped? I said cuck, not. All right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. But no, seriously, Mary did really come in from the top rope with that one. I just think Sean Strickland is definitely the most viable option here. Sure, were there other options that made sense? Yes. But I think it had to be Sean Strickland. I think we both agree that him coming in there and doing that to one of the greatest strikers of our time was unpredictable, considering people used to make fun of him for his iCarly style like stand up stance. But I digress. The man, the myth, the legend, Sean Strickland. He went out there and he got it done. He made it look easy. Just dominant performance from pillar to post, as they say. Couldn't have scripted it any better. Anything else to add before we unveil the winner of the final award here?
I think we need to drum roll this off, man. We need to see who this MMAnomaly award winner is. Who's the recipient?
Let's go. It's time, guys, for the second annual MMAnomaly Show No Filter Awards, MMAnomaly of the Year 2023. Just an unbelievable year for Sean Strickland. Honestly, give this man his flowers. Give this man his roses. Give this man a round of applause because he honestly earned it this year, folks. I think this was probably the easiest one for me. He came out here, got it done over a champ. After losing last year, he came back and strung together a handful of wins, is now a UFC champion, is doing things like the Theo Von podcast, getting more fame and recognition than he probably ever thought possible when he first started this journey. And, you know, there were a few years ago where you didn't know if he was ever going to be a contender. You didn't even know if he was going to continue fighting. So here he is doing the damn thing. The final award of the evening, 18 awards up, 18 awards down.
Let's go.
We started the show with a Sean Strickland win, and we ended the show with a Sean Strickland win. I think it feels like a George Lucas Star Wars moment. As he likes to say, they're like poetry. It rhymes.
And a little Ouroboros here. Shout out Loki season 2. Definitely.
Yeah. Ouroboros action. You love to see it, baby. Me and Mary were just talking about Loki literally yesterday. So
my favorite, man. Can't wait for that. What did you watch? What If season 2? Because
did I watch What If season 2, brother? Does a bear shit in the woods? Do I have a full size metal Captain America shield replica behind me? Yeah, bro. I watched it.
Oh man, as it came up like clockwork, it was like every morning, like getting everyone's coffee because we had guests over, we had family in the house. But best to leave, I was watching that on my little tablet, baby.
Watching
every single episode.
Watch every single episode.
So fun. Oh, so fun.
Honestly, they did such a good job tying things together for
perfect time.
MCU Phase 4. Like, they did a better job with What If tying things together than most of the live action stuff has, and that's not a knock on the live action stuff so much as it's a compliment to What If and everything that it's done for world building purposes. I think it's just a fantastic setup.
Exactly. Kahorti, I mean, everything about it, man.
Kahorti, like the original character, like I can honestly say that's probably one of the best original characters that Marvel has created outside of comic books since X-23 being invented during the last season of X-Men Evolution, the animated series.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you knew that or not, but they literally brought her in for a one episode run on X-Men Evolution. If you haven't watched that show, the whole series is on Disney Plus.
Is that Wolverine's like daughter, kind of?
You should watch. It's very different. So her story in the comics is very dark. They basically took her, like, you know, when they took Wolverine, he was like already a teenager and they grafted the metal to his bones, Weapon X, all that stuff. They took her at age 4 or 5. Her parents essentially sold her to Weapon X. They then genetically spliced Wolverine's DNA with hers so that she could deal with being grafted the metal shit. They put it all on her. They set her up to be this deadly killing machine, and then she escapes. She goes to Paris, pretends to be a prostitute, and then murders the perverts that are taking her back underage to their hotel. And that's how she lives, by stealing their money after killing them.
Ooh.
So, like, she is a dark character. X-Men wanted to put her down because she's so dangerous. Captain America actually was the one that was like, no, people thought you were dangerous too, Logan. So he basically gives her money, gives her a second chance, and gives her an open invitation to the Avengers. And then she ends up going to the X-Men years later. But anyways,
interesting story.
I'm a bit of a nerd, guys. I don't know if you folks know this, but yeah, big time fucking nerd.
That's no filter, baby. You come for the awards, but you stay for the extra content. That's what I'm talking about. We open up that can of worms, but that's fire. I definitely can check it out.
Yeah, we can definitely talk more about that off air or even on the next episode. I just know it's getting late for you, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to get you in trouble. I also don't want to get me in trouble with your cow.
There we go. There we go. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll dive in. Yep.
We'll definitely dive into the next episode. We'll dive into some Marvel fun facts. Again, I'm full of those. But before we call it a night, before we do our parting kind of speech with you guys here, or our final goodbyes, just wanted to post these quick 2 videos of just us saying thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody who tunes in. Thank you to everybody who comes to each and every show throughout the year. This is candidly my favorite show to do each year. I don't even want to admit it, but I've probably put in like 40 plus hours on editing the video clips and rendering and like making sure everything looks pretty and feels nice while we're presenting this stuff. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed everything. And for those of you that sent in video clips or even just voted, really, really appreciate it. I know that you took time out of your day for us, and that really does mean something to us. So we just want to say we really appreciate it. So with that being said,
so as you can see, that was a great year in MMA 2023. Shout out to MMAnomaly. Shout out to the boys. Big O. I hope all my picks win, but if they don't, just know 2024, they will. The people agree.
MMAnomaly, I'm always proud to be on. I appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see you guys soon. TN out.
Once again, I'm Brandon Stanley, and it was an honor to jump on here and give you guys some of my favorite votes. I'm excited to see who actually ends up winning all these. I love this podcast, and I can't wait to tune in. Peace!
Shout out MMAnomaly. You're the best.
We really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Hit me right in the feels, brother. Love you guys. Let's go. Upward and onward.
Everybody in the chat, like, you guys are the fucking rock stars. You guys really do make the show. Emily, first time in the chat here. Appreciate you. Happy to see you in the chat. And she says you guys are great. We think you're great. We think you're great for being here. And we hope you have the best 2024, folks. Hopefully this was a great kickoff episode for your 2024. Definitely have some fun stuff in store. Kind of combine those 2 words because I'm too excited here for the next episode. Since there is no fight card coming up right away here, they're making us wait, guys. They're really making us wait for these fight cards, folks. The next fight card isn't until January 13th. So that means we do have a little bit of time. And we're going to do 2 episodes before then. So I have to have a filler episode. But don't worry, guys. Again, I got something really nice cooked up for you. Yeah, really, really nice stuff cooking in here. Candidly, Mary came up with this idea at dinner the other night, and I'm stoked about it. So
let's go.
Can't wait to share it with Nano and really get grinding on this one because I think it's going to be a good one. A lot less flashy graphics, a lot more nitty gritty, and I'm just kind of leaving a little golden nugget of a teaser for you guys. A lot more betting on the next episode here, folks. So we got some fun stuff cooked up for you. We're going to have a lot more fun here in 2024. And the goal here is always to keep on going and keep on growing. Folks, whether you're new here or returning, we really, really appreciate it. We appreciate you sticking it through with us. Whether you just tuned in or you tuned in since minute 1 all the way to hour 3 here, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from the tops of our souls, and from every ounce of our being. Seriously, thank you. Chef's kiss to each and every one of you. Keep on going. Keep on growing, and like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications. We are out. We will see you next week.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.